I don't even know.
Gen, gen, and welcome to Let's Have a Conversation, an average black man show. Today we talking about generational cycles, and I'm looking at my phone, and my phone ain't the stuff in my phone ain't transferred to my computers, but generational cycles in the sense of every generation looks at the generation after them and be like, man, what y'all doing? Y'all crazy. Y'all ain't got no manners. Y'all know how to act. You know what I'm saying? These kids today, that type of stuff. The same way our parents looked at us and said, "These kids today." We looking at the kids today like these kids today, and that's just one. That's just to break the ice on it. It's so much more that I want to cover. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
these kids today, I'm not even gonna lie, that's one of my pet peeves. When I hear people say that, I just be looking at them like,
When you hear them say, "What these kids today?"
yes, because they were saying the same thing about us.
Yeah, it's just normal shit. But these kids today do be tripping though.
I mean, they said the same thing about us.
I know. I'm just
Shit. We used to be looking at them like, and then
we
they,
was we was tripping though.
no, we wasn't.
I beg to differ. I was.
Absolutely, we all were. I'm
I
trying
say
to.
this.
Huh?
I say the difference between now and then is that we still had some type of organization as far as like family, community. We still have that. Like them, how they are now. Like the first time when I heard a black man saying that he was a demon, I was like, what the fuck is going on with this right here?
A
This
demon.
generation is fucking going. Yeah, when they talking about like demon time and going, you know what I mean? Like even like Lil Wayne would say, you know what I mean? Lil Wayne, I think to me was like the one that really like got this generation on the alter side of what they were pretty much raised up as. Like it was a lot of Illuminati type of stuff coming out. It was just so much that they was getting that to me, this generation they don't have the soul that we had. That's why they're taking everything that we done because they don't have anything. Like they really don't. Like they might have tech, but it's like if our generation had tech, it'd have been over with. Like there's no way because like Gen X still use it now.
Yeah. Now this
Mm,
generation wild. They are wild, but I mean they just raised off the backs of our generation, just like we was raised off the back of the previous generation. So I do think they are. It's a lot of Bible stuff, you know what I mean? And I'm not even extremely religious, even though I grew up like that. But it's a lot of, they wise and they wise, they smart, but they not wise. I see that with the kids. They got access to information 24/7. So they think they know everything. They don't have real experiences, you know what I mean? They in the house on their damn phones and computers. Uh And it is. I mean, the society has gotten, we didn't opened everything up. And they grow up on that. They have no choice but to be who they are. They raised off of us. What y'all think? Do y'all think y'all kind of see like a steady, like we were kind of wilder? You know,
I think
we was exposed to a lot more than the previous generation, especially the
um
crack epidemic and all that shit.
well well, when I talk to my mom, she like growing up, she used to tell me it wasn't no different. Like it was just as bad. Cause they had heroin. Remember, they had to live through heroin.
Yeah, that smack, what they was calling that, huh?
Yeah.
Hmm.
No, I think you're right. I mean, everybody has their own stuff they got to go through. That's human nature, trials and tribulations.
It was, but I don't. I just think that we may be like we had still had some type of respect for our elders and certain things that was instilled in us by Big Mama or just our parents or whatever the case may be. And
So
when it comes to the next generation, I'm looking at the next generation basically raising themselves.
well, I'm sorry to break it to you, Sister Light, but you big mama now.
You don't gotta break it to me. I know. I'll be having them. I'll be having them all the time.
Right. You big mama now. So
But I see the
if you feel
difference.
like these kids ain't got big mama going on, we gotta look left and right at our peers because
Well,
we
I'm
the
not
generation
saying
here.
that. I'm talking about the generation that came after us. I wasn't Big
The-
Mama then. I'm talking about like my siblings that are right
Yeah,
underneath
okay.
me,
Yeah.
maybe 10 years younger than me. So,
It's our fault right here in the comments. It's our fault.
well, I don't know. I don't because the deal
And
is
you know
of
what? I mean, I don't even know if this our fault. I mean, it comes from us. They raised off of us, but we raised the way we raised.
So y'all know I come from gang banging, right? And my oldest son don't know nothing about gang banging because I gave him I did right. I didn't pass that. I didn't pass that on to him. And my youngest son don't even know what a gang is at all. But I also have peers that are our age who got sons that are little baby tiny whatever they hood name is. You know what I'm saying? So same with the whole argument about Sexy Red and the booty shaking music, my coochie music, my this and walking around the WAP and all of that. That's Little Kim and all of that. Like you can go all the way back to
Mhm.
1920 and find that music. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we can't have what's called is psychologists call it moral nostalgia where every generation before believes that the way that they grew up is better than the generation after, even though they was doing the same thing. The same way we talk about these kids now going to the club, booty popping and twerking. Guess what we was doing to Uncle Luke in the club?
Right. Don't
True
stop.
Live
Stop
Crew.
that. Let me see.
Right. So how can we take this moral stance of we would have never yes we freak Nick,
And it might
you
have
know how much
started with doing the butt, right? That was the first little sexy,
even before
sexy.
even no even
No.
before doing but even before doing the butt they was shaking tail feathers and all
Uh-huh.
that. Like come on, they was
I
wearing
used to
we was
watch
wearing
I used to watch my friends, one of my good friends, her grandmother used to do little parties every weekend, right? Her friends. And they be in there doing the dirty dog and yeah, and listening to Clarence Carter and whatever.
I be stroking.
Right. They used and I used to be cracking up watching these people because they used to be getting down. So we gotta stop acting like we just like so appalled. Oh my God, I'm clutching my pearls because these kids. No, I don't see it that way.
So I'm gonna play a video. This video this is from 1968 and this man is asked a question. Now it's in 1968, and the question they asked him is, "How do you think the generation today, 1968, is in comparison to 20 years past?" Right, so 20 years past the 1940s. And this is the answer he gave.
Ask Francis about the standards of today's black man as compared with those of 20 years ago.
Standards which white society had projected. I think these standards were that he had to become successful according to the white mode. He had to get a good job. He had to buy a good car. He had to move to the suburbs. He had to rear a good family that went to church every Sunday, that did everything that the typical good American family was supposed to do. And I don't think the black man necessarily is addicted to that notion. I think he sees the falsity of it. I think he sees the total hypocrisy of it. I think he wants to rear a tightly knit family, but not for the purposes that white society says. He doesn't want to rear a family for any sham purposes, just to fulfill some false ethic. But he wants to rear a good family in order to have his children strong, reared in his own image perhaps, and to transmit, most importantly, to transmit the values which he is learning to his children, and to try to ensure as best he can that his children will transmit those same values to their children, and have the same transmission repeated from generation to generation.
Now, do y'all think that got lost somewhere?
I don't think. Well, yeah. Yeah, I could say that got lost. I mean, we had a generation. I don't know. I wonder what the actual stats really are. You know what I mean? I've heard stuff my whole life, but I don't know what the stats really are. But we had a whole damn generation, it seems like, without fathers, or, a lot of one-parent households. And I definitely think you lose something with that. You know what I mean? I don't think I could be as good of a parent as somebody that's doing it, together. I think my kids would lose something by just having me.
Yeah, I dig that. What say you, Light?
I think we definitely lost a lot of stuff. Like it's true. We definitely lost something.
Right.
We definitely lost something, especially going into the 70s. Right?
And
So he was right.
And I just thought about something. You mentioned the big mamas, right?
Mm-hmm.
This group of women is talking about this myth.
There have been a lot of myths created about the black family. We all recognize that. And one of the most pernicious myths is the myth of the black matriarch. It was not like the black woman has not been a matriarch in the sense that it has been defined thus far. And thank God research, and I hope black research, is being done now to reverse that kind of thing. In fact, the black woman has been a woman at the head of a household, not by choice, but by necessity. Mm-hmm. And more often, that's right, and more often than not, she is not a strong, matriarchal, aggressive, domineering figure. She is a woman in search of a man. But this story has not been told. The prejudiced society created what we have now. So that's what we were. Okay, we have a revolution going on. Revolution.
We're not a revolution. I think the revolution comes down. Yeah, it's the word revolution around lightly.
It's extremely important for.
Right. So how I feel about that? The myth of the matriarch, the strong black woman that don't need no man.
I don't know. They didn't really say too much. She just said they were forced into it.
And she didn't say that, but that's the myth of the strong black woman. We don't need no man, when we absolutely did need our men, but they just weren't available.
Yeah.
So we adapted to that. We had to adapt to the cards that were dealt. Like, we had no choice.
And that I want to segue that into this next clip of when I was, since this show is about generational cycles, this is a conversation that 20-year-olds are sitting around having in 1968. And it's going to sound eerily familiar.
I think that what's happening in America as far as black men, black women is concerned, is that there's a revolution within a revolution. We are fighting our own woman. Our woman will not allow us to emerge as black men. You know? But our black women, who has been put in this role of aiding white America, white structure, and castrating the black male, has continued doing this. She cannot live with us. It's not that we can't live with her.
Are you blaming us? Are you saying that it's our fault that this happened?
No, I'm not blaming black America women. I just said that I'm blaming the system. They are victims of the system like the black male.
Well, why do you say that we are castrating you? You say that you want to be the leaders. Okay. Well, what about the black professional woman? Are you saying that there should be no black professional woman? Are you trying to deny black women the right to be creative, the right to function?
We're not asking for you to take a back seat. We're
said.
saying that you have got to be astute enough and can view the situation well enough where you just automatically know what your role is and step back. And whenever you want to have that aggressive thing, this is the thing that the young black man today is not going to tolerate. My old man tolerated because his old man tolerated. Came up for years and years and years. But today, the young black man is not going to take it. He's going to be out there as the leader. White America has used black women to keep the black male in his place. And you're still aiding him by saying, well, we are qualified. We want to work. We can help.
Okay, how are you going to reprogram men so that they don't let us take over what's supposed to be their responsibility? And men that I have had dealings with, they are perfectly willing to sit back and let us do anything we want to.
I don't think that you have to reprogram men. I think you have to reprogram women.
No, you have to reprogram the man so that he will forcefully take what belongs to him, because you know women, as long as we can get, we're gonna get, and it's part of our being. We're going to do anything to you that you let us, whether we want to or not.
You don't want to live on the level of income that I can afford you and love me on the basis of that. You want to always be aspiring to have all those things that's a part of the great middle-class white American society. And because I can't deliver these things to you, you say that you are not a man.
I don't measure a man by how much money he can bring home. I measure a man by how he treats me. Whether when I'm tired and I'm sick and I'm scared, he's there.
You know, this was interesting, Timothy, is because that
conversation has been passed on for generation.
Not only that, the mindset. Did you hear what he said? That goes back into your COINTELPRO video. That the government used the black male ego to make him look at the woman like she was the enemy. Because how do you say, oh, did you literally hear this man telling this woman that black women should settle for struggle love? Like, he literally told her that. Because you aspire to want more. You shouldn't want more. You should want what I can give you. So because a woman went out, and I understand that they basically locked y'all out of the job market. So we understand that now, right, today, right? And so what was the problem? If you could not get the job and you had the woman that could get the job and was willing to get the job and go to school and do the things that she can to advance herself, what was the problem?
The collapse of egalitarianism. Because before all of this, black men and like they got, you know, they always had the conversation about feminism. You know, women want to work. Well, that didn't apply to us as black people. They literally had laws that said both black men and black women had to work.
Listen, job references are modeled because of that, where
Right.
you couldn't just quit your job at there. You had to be let go, and then you had to take the paperwork to the next job so that they can know that they let you go, like you didn't just quit.
Right. So what I'm saying is that egalitarian household where both men and women always had to work was always the standard. Well, I won't say the standard. It was a necessary reality because that was how we had to survive during those times back then. As time moves forward, like the argument that we just watched, where like you were saying that the dude was like, well, you want what the white man got, and since I can't give you what the white man got, you want to say I'm not a man. And her whole thing, and her being cut from that club, because this is what, nearly 60 years ago, her being cut from that egalitarian mindset of before is, I don't judge a man by that. I judge a man by how he treats me. We can get this money together and raise these kids. But the concept of the hypergamy, that was the trap that I think that we all fell into, because fast forward to today, like I said, this exact conversation is still being had with those exact same talking points, just from the standpoint of women fell for the trap. Women fell for the what a man has is never good enough. And to the point that we're at now is most relationships aren't even based on building emotional connections. It's 100% transactional. It's what have you done for me lately type shit. Like, what can you do for me? If you can't do nothing for me, you have no worth. And that's the reality. That's the reality that a lot of men really face.
That's interesting, because what you're saying is interesting, because even in that conversation, they like to blame the mother for that mindset, when most of it came from the fathers.
Right. The COINTELPRO FBI joint, that was what that was all about. It was about weaponizing the male ego, the creating the distrust in the male against his woman.
Well, no,
they solidified this distrust in his woman by giving, how it appeared to the men at that time, giving women opportunities that men were not afforded. So the factories would close and the men wouldn't have work, but the women could still go be nurses. The women could still go be maids. The women still had work. And so that was a fracturing of the male ego of, because that was a time where being a man and supporting your family defined you as a man.
But how long had this really been going on, and to what scale, right? Because you hear Sojourner Truth say the same thing, and that's what, 18 something.
Sojourner Truth, that was like late 1800s. Sojourner Truth is a different circumstance, because they're talking about suffrage. So
no. She literally said that in those days, men couldn't get a job because basically, again, they were locked out of the workforce. But women could work, and but they couldn't really do much but be a maid or a nanny or whatever.
Right.
And these men would sit idly by while the woman went out and worked, and then when she would come home, he would take her paycheck and then still look at her when there was no food in the house.
And that was just a product of that time back then, because during that time, even he was oppressed. So he could do that was lashing out in frustration. And I'm not saying or justifying those actions at all. It was horrible. But that same type of mentality is what they were able to weaponize 100 years after that in the 1950s and 60s, because in the 1940s and 50s we had an egalitarian thing. The whole separate but equal, that is terrible, as we all know that segregation was, or we've been convinced to believe. During segregation, we was cool. We didn't bother them. They didn't bother us until they saw that we was doing a little better than they wanted us to be doing, and then that became the problem. Not the fact that we were separate. It was the fact that we were supposed to be separate and equal, but we became separate and doing better than a lot of them, to where a lot of lower class clear people saw black people having stuff they didn't have, like pianos and automobiles. Like, how that N-word get that? How that Negro get that? I don't even got that. How that Negro get? And that became an issue. and that spawned generation upon generation to where, like I said, I could play the video, but I don't know if we want to do that. But Meech, welcome to the stage, man.
What's going on?
All right. I don't know how much you heard or what you want to chime in on.
No, I think I'm gonna need to hear some more. Like some more clips, like a fresh one.
Oh, I only had those 3 because I figured that conversation would lead from there. Let me see. I got something else somewhere else.
But
Because
yeah, it's just it's
go ahead, like.
interesting, like just to look at all of these things. But again, like I said, I'm a person who talks to my elders, men and women, and the story that's being the narrative that's trying to be pushed today is not the story that they're telling. And it's a running joke. One of my childhood best friends, it's a running joke with me. She'd be like, she always talking to old people. Cause I like to talk to them, hear their story, and get their wisdom.
What do you said the story that they trying to tell is not the story that they tell? What's
Right, the narratives that's being pushed today on social media, this fake fantasy of kumbaya, and it was just love and happiness. It just wasn't that.
Oh, you talking about like happy marriages or something back in the day?
Well, I'm not saying that there were no happy marriages, but it just the whole woman kicked the men out the house for welfare. Most of them will tell you that didn't happen. Um,
I think for the majority that didn't happen.
but that's not the narrative being pushed today.
Yeah, because stuff always gets lost. We always talk. Most of the stuff we talk about is the minority. We're not talking about the majority of people. And I agree with you. You're right. The narrative always sounds like everyone was doing this, but it probably wasn't. You know what I mean? It probably was like most
I
women
mean, the
probably
homeless
wasn't
rate
cheating.
proves it. The homeless rate proves it wasn't. And also, I think a lot of people, when they go into these narratives, they don't even understand that those welfare laws was contingent to the state you lived in. Because there were some states that you could be married and get benefits. There were some states that if even the kids had to go work to get benefits for the household, school age kids, like, so it's just like I said, it's a lot of narratives being pushed, and people just, I don't know. It's getting to be annoying because when you hear them pushing these narratives, you just be sitting there like, what are you talking about? You don't
Like
even look
I
much.
pulled up the stats on Chat GPT, and it's like what percentage of black kids grew up in single family homes throughout the decades. For the most part, throughout the decades, most of us grew up in two-parent homes. But then in the 80s and the 90s, the shit just went crazy. And in the 90s, it spiked at the 90s was the highest of single family homes. It was 55% of black homes were single family homes in the 90s.
Hey Tim, I'm gonna send you this graph. I'm gonna send you this graph real quick because it talks about the decline in marriage during the crack era. Let me see if I can find it. I just saw it the other day, and I meant to send it to you.
Yeah, so I mean, there obviously was a shift. It does seem like it was around the crack era. And that's why I said, like, we grew up with that era.
I'm
So, of course, we
scrolling.
didn't.
No, go ahead.
I'm saying we grew up in that era. Of course, we passed that shit on. We passed on what we saw, what we embodied. You know, we passed it on to the younger generation, and then they just pick it up from where we left it off, and it just goes further and further.
Do you think that there's been more of an emphasis on the shortcomings of women versus men? because you know we as men we only hear we have our bias of because we've been hearing niggas ain't shit for as long as we've been you know what I mean?
Okay, I'll
So
say in our circles, when we talking with ourselves, of course it's they fault. You know what I mean? These women ain't shit. They did sometimes, but for the
well,
most part,
the reason I'm asking that is because I'm trying to look online for stuff.
24 years old.
And I come across this I guess it's supposed to be a Malcolm X speech, and this is Malcolm talking, and you know back then, this is Malcolm talking back then, but the imagery of the video is modern day imagery.
"24 years old. Why, good God, man, what's happening to your woman? 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 They're making her a prostitute. They're making her a drug addict. They're making her a lesbian. They're making her a harlot. They're making her a solid. Because you and I won't stand up and be men. A man, when you're a man, you're not afraid to go to jail. When you're a man, you're not afraid to give your life. And when you're a man, you're not afraid to take someone else's life. Yes, I'm saying it and I mean it. You can go in hotels around here and find these white men laid up there with black women while you can snatch off their heads. I mean, snatch off their heads. You and I will never be respected until we get some respect for this black woman. Make her straighten up and then straighten out that white man. Make her straighten up and then straighten out that white man.
All right, so in that instance, Malcolm puts the onus on the men. This your fault. The reason your women are that way is because you ain't a man.
and again, man, everybody wants to point the finger. Is this fault? Is that fault? It really ain't. It's just two sides of the same coin. You know, we all out of control.
But that's the whole generational thing. Like, for example, you know, certain behaviors we were all taught as kids, you know, look a certain way, like we talked about last week with the bonnets and being presentable. Like all of that was stuff that was taught from how you should and shouldn't present yourself. So if they going out presenting themselves a certain way, doesn't that mean that the generation that's their parents failed to pass on that lesson?
I mean, I think it's a society thing. I think we are all. I had this conversation with someone yesterday. She told me she only likes old. She asked me if that was old fashioned. You know, she only dates old fashioned men. And I don't know, what does that mean? That's different from everybody. I can't be too old fashioned. I can only be what the hell I see around me. And that's what I told her. Like, I'm sure I got some old fashioned ways, you know, I got old fashioned influences, but for the most part, you are what you see. And that's
She wanted to know if you was a trick.
That's what she wanted to really know. But of course, she gonna come around with this. Are you old fashioned?
I mean, because it's true. Like, especially nowadays, men your age, our age, a little older, they are not really stingy. They're not stingy.
When
They
you say
come.
men our age and older, I mean, she was older than me, but you know.
Oh well, then she was. Oh, okay. Well, she was looking for you to match her
Same
energy.
shit. No, she was looking for the same shit, like you said. She was
How you
trying
know? I
to
don't know that. I'll change my mind now that I know she's older than you. She might be a sugar mama.
She wasn't no damn sugar mama. She was
Not asking if he old fashioned and going.
yeah, that's a damn sure she wasn't no sugar mama.
I don't mean she couldn't be a sugar mama.
Yeah, and it's a whole lot that could go to that. Do you open doors? Are you a gentleman and all that other type of stuff? It's a lot of nuance into that.
She was
You only do it
obviously. Do you do it missionary?
Yeah.
Have a piece. That's
See,
what
you
piece
do a
said.
missionary is crazy.
I do like missionary.
I didn't even hear him say that. I heard him mumble something.
Well, at least she older than you, because missionary bring babies. So we good. She older than you. You can't get her pregnant.
You all right, Meech? You on mute?
Meech over there all quiet.
But I was just bringing that
Yeah,
up
I'm
to
good.
say, we all just a product of our environment. I can't act like a gentleman from the 1800s because I ain't never seen a gentleman from the 1800s.
I'm not a product of my environment.
Yeah, sure.
But
No, I'm not.
something going on with Percy's connection. He keep dropping off.
I'm literally
But
not.
You are. We all are.
Hold on. So you've never seen it. You've never seen a gentleman from the 1800s. Have you seen a gentleman from the 80s?
Yeah.
So there's an example right there that you could use to model and set for yourself that you could therefore set and pass to your children. So that's something for a generational cycle that could be passed. These are mine.
I'm literally not though.
A product of your environment.
I'm not.
Yeah, I know we all special and we all are,
I'm not though.
I know you rise above.
Well, I wouldn't even say that. My environment, it consists of both sides of the track from a child.
And when I say that, I'm not saying you can't overcome bad things in your environment.
No. I get it. I get what you're saying. I 100% got what you're saying, but my environment consists of both sides of the track. So I was exposed to different things from a child. So you know what I mean? You get what I'm saying?
I do.
I was exposed to different things where my peers weren't exposed to those things.
And that influenced who you are. And that's when I say when you're a product of your environment, you were exposed to maybe more, but that still influenced who you are.
So socioeconomics, you're saying, plays a huge part, because if that's the case, then the person that gets out of the projects and gets out of the ghetto is the exception, because you're supposed to be a product of your surroundings. So if you're, and they got sociology studies that have stuff like that says they can determine how you're going to turn out just by the zip code you were born in.
No, that's what they think. Mm-hmm.
Well, of course you can. I mean, it's more likely if you born in this area and this hospital that the parents just paid $150,000, and you go into this elementary school where the parents are paying money to get the best teachers. You definitely gonna probably have a leg up on someone that's born, and not in that environment.
The way I have learned to interpret that now that I'm older and a little bit more well-read is that them kids still grow up and go to high school and do drugs and sniff cocaine and be out and drink and have party. And when the difference is that when they get in trouble, they get off. They got so the socioeconomic part only is only in that metric because the behavior is still the same. They still have teenage pregnancies, but they just go get it terminated.
And the behavior across the board ain't the same. And we can pull up these numbers too. We can pull up the numbers. I got ChatGPT up right now.
Pull up the number of arrests because convictions is different.
Right.
Yeah. So what's the question?
Who has that? Well, and even with arrest, it's kind of hard because we get arrested for just being black outside at night.
Right.
Yeah, sure do.
And a lot of that stuff gets swept under the rug.
But of course, having money is going to give you a leg up. It's going to get you out of trouble. It's going to, you get caught with drugs. It's a kid that just went off, got around the wrong people, as opposed to when you get caught with drugs, this nigga out here, he's a monster. Drugs. Yeah.
So okay. So let's look at this from a generational view, because what about the kids whose parents came up out of the mud and then they became successful, did what they supposed to do, moved out of the hood, and then had children, but then for whatever reason those children want to be hood.
Again, a product of your environment, man.
But they growing up in the suburbs. They parents got them.
Think about where we grew up at. We grew up. Everybody moved to where we grew up at for a reason. All of our parents moved there, escaping what? It was overnight. Everybody moved to Moreno Valley.
The what you call it riots? The Rodney
riots
King
trying to escape the hood.
But
everybody bought nice big ass houses. There was a lot of 2-parent households out there.
That's what they brung with them.
Exactly.
Their mentality.
Exactly.
They brought the mentality with them. So okay, so that's what you're saying. But that was in the example that I'm saying is that that would be like how you and your ex-wife is, right? And Kai want to be a gangbanger. Where did he get that from?
Where did you get it?
I got it from school. I got it from school.
Your environment. You said earlier, you didn't expose it to your kid, but you grew up with gangbanging. But you didn't.
Right. I grew up with it. No, I did grow up with it in my apartment.
Around you. Exactly. Right. Not from
I
your
grew up
house.
with it around me. Right. I got it from school. I got it from my apartment complex.
It was in your environment.
It was in your environment.
Same with me. Like I wasn't raised to, my grandmama and them didn't raise me to be like that, but it was in my environment. I saw it every day. And of course, if that's like the cool thing, you know what I mean? Like you're going to gravitate towards it. You know what I mean? Now the caveat to that is like the like let's say the white kids, right? The white kids who see a culture from a distance and then they're trying to mimic that culture. See, like that's different. You know what I mean? But you can see two different products of environment. Like remember the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, how Carlton was versus how Will was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then when Will, after he stayed in Bel-Air for a while, even though he still had his hood flavor to him, you could see how he became more of a preppy guy and started gravitating more towards that when he started getting the same opportunities that Carl had from jump.
Yeah, like we talked about last week. I forgot what that conversation was, but we was talking about presentable, like bonnets and stuff, and how I said like my kids like to wear pajamas and house shoes. I'm like, man, what if you got to fight? You know what I mean? You can't be out there in house shoes. Dad, don't nobody fight out here. That's their environment where my kids grow up. This is clear. No one's fighting out here, Dad. No one's gonna do anything. Like, what are you?
And we grew up.
See, but you see what your mentality is though, because of how we grew up where you had to protect yourself because there was predators out there ready to get at you.
Mm-hmm.
They walking around with their head just in their phone. They don't even know what's around them.
So with that being said, let's look at the generation that's behind them, the alphas, the babies, the video that went viral of the preschool of the little girls like 4, 5, 6 years old singing Sexy Red.
That was not
hands on your knees.
I still don't believe. I think somebody made that.
Well, somebody did make it.
Yeah, right.
No, I really think somebody made that.
That recorded it.
I think somebody made that video.
You know what? Everything happens, at somewhere at some given time. So I mean, I can see that happening, of course.
So you say you think it was a skit?
Mm-hmm.
But I can definitely see
for
that
content.
happening.
People are doing so much for content. Like they got the dude that takes the girl to the mall on a date, or the guy that comes and brings just his kid food. Those be skits, and people really be commenting on it. Like,
these skits.
It'd be like, get out of here.
And it'd be like mini dramas, huh?
Yeah, people be doing.
All right, so I found a video, and it's not a preschool. This is at the house karaoke. So this is absolutely sanctioned by the parent. 100%.
I mean, I've seen it in person. Shit.
This is 100% parent approved motions.
Ain't that some shit?
Are they playing the edited version for the kids?
No.
Oh, they playing an edited version. They could be getting watched by kids. You know what I mean? They could be getting babies.
I think I saw this one. I think this is the one where they were saying hands on your knees, right?
Yeah. Who watching it? They probably
Hands
being
on your
watched
knees.
by some 13-year-olds.
Like, damn. Like, but where did they get the dances from though?
Hey, but see, this is that generational thing. Raise your hand if your parents made you dance for their company at night.
Oh my God.
When you was a kid.
I don't think I ever had to.
Oh,
I've seen it though.
I used to have this song from The Spy Who Loves Me. Nobody does it better. Makes me feel sad. I used to have a pencil and singing and shit, yo.
Remember that the beginning of Eddie Murphy Raw when he be like, "Show me the little dance, just show me the little dance." That was my real life, man.
Yeah.
So
So
who are we to? So that's what I'm saying. Who are we to condemn this when we come from it?
And I'm not gonna lie, as a kid, I was running around the house singing "Saving All My Love" and "In Between the Sheets," and I was singing all that because that's what we was listening to because that's what our parents was playing.
Yeah. Nah, they talking about "Let Your Pussy Breathe." Did
the kids say that part? I didn't hear it.
The song says that.
We were singing love songs.
I know, but
we knew what they meant.
I don't know, man. I was
like, did they play that? Did it cut it out? That's what I'm asking.
Nah, it didn't cut it out. That was the song.
I'm about to hit play again. Let's see, because
But you know what though? I gotta say,
hold on real quick. Like, let's see.
What to do everyday people?
All right, let's see. No, it's the edited version. Shake that. It's the edited version.
All right.
But I do notice something about kids. They real smart. Even if they hear the non-edited version, they won't say that certain part. Some kids will. Yeah, some kids will.
Because I've seen videos of little kids as they playing young Jeezy or something in the car, and the kids hanging out the window. They like 6 years. They throwing up stuff. They cussing.
Yep. Well, shit, we was bad too, though, man. Like,
and there you go.
It is what it is, bro. Just go and admit it.
There you go.
Ain't no,
when
can't point the finger, man.
You know what I was saying when I was 13, 14 years old? I was what did we see? How's it go? I was saying, I wonder how would it feel to sleep with a woman like you, to fade that monkey till it's funky, rubbing all over your pants, make you sticky like glue. You can call me the real funk junkie, slanging this like dope. Drop with a cap, and I'm looking for the smoke. Word to the mother 304s now past that gin. Let's begin. I'm 12, 13, 14. Reach know what I'm talking. I was in the car with him while he was playing it.
And look, he sat there quiet, like
he was
don't.
Hey, no, I was listening to These Are the Tales, the freaky tales. These are the tales that you know so well. So
short dog.
I mean, we definitely grew up, but as young kids, of course, we listening to stuff that's different than what the parents listen to. You know what I mean? But I think it was probably our generation that started some of that vulgar stuff. That became so common. That became so common.
Oh, our generation might be the generation where it transitioned into being commercial music that played on the radio.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Because prior, because they always had it. So right there, we just all agreed to a generational cycle that we contributed to that's negative. We the generation that
contributed to shit that's negative. Of course. We're not immune to making mistakes and passing on bad shit. It didn't just happen to us.
But hold on. We gotta blame exactly who did it to us.
What's the generation before us? Because 13, 14, we ain't really in control.
The generation before us
Exactly.
is boomer. Before
But
us
they,
is the boomers. Before us is the boomers. We're all Gen X. All of us
but
are
they,
Gen X.
So it was the boomers that did it.
but they was young as shit when they was teaching us. You know what I mean? It's the same
Right.
thing.
Right. When we was growing up listening to Between the Sheets, they was young and
Exactly. They was young. I be thinking about that now. You know how old my parents were.
now.
How old
Listening
I
to
am
woman,
now.
listening to
Hey,
woman,
Hold on. Ferg kept it real right here. This is truth. This is truth.
Gen X sold the crack to mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers. They did. And why did they? You know what? I remember
Who gave it to Gen X though?
and why did they? That's the way it had to be. Mothers, fathers, sisters, and brothers was gonna get it from somebody. It was better they got it from you. I remember somebody telling me that once.
Man, it's a lot of women that I knew that was like they would rather have because drugs got so bad and people was lacing weed and all of that. So they would prefer their kids to be at home smoking because they could, at least if they was gonna do it, they knew that they was safe and you know what I mean?
I'm talking about kids that had to serve their parents. You know what I mean? They'd be like, I didn't see kids have to serve their own parents. And I'm like, damn. I remember saying it one time when I was a kid. Like, damn, man, you sold your crack to your mama? And he's like, I'd rather her get it from me than her have to go out there and she don't know what she get it from this other nigga.
Right, or somebody be like, you gotta hook me up to get it and all that type of shit. All right.
Or she owe me some money or something now.
Yeah.
So yeah, Gen X did grow with that. Gen X did grow up with that crack. But like I said, everybody grew up with something. Shit, nowadays, man, they got damn. These kids are smoking so much damn weed, and it's strong as shit.
Right, that's the difference. Because we smoked a lot too. I can remember a time when I would hit you up like, hey, Jaja, I got 250.
250, half on
yeah. You be like, all right, I got 252. We go get the nick. Like, all right, let's go find somebody with a blunt. You know what I'm saying? And we teenage, we kids. And that was every day, right? Every single day. But the difference, like you said, we were smoking homegrown, mid-grades, stuff like that. These kids now literally got.
Yeah, I was smoking mid-grade and homegrown.
We was happy to get mid-grade.
Yeah.
It was like, that was shit. Remember, I ain't gonna say his name was
like, that ain't his real name. You know what I'm saying? Well, it was a dude we used to get tree from. His name was Lacey, and he used to sell these little bitty, and it's like, in hindsight, it's like, wait, nigga named Lacey.
Now we did smoke Arizona, but Arizona back then
we had the
it
red
was
hair.
different. It was different than what they would call. I call it block work now because I wouldn't even touch it. But I ain't gonna hold you. We was smoking young. We was smoking like because our friend moms used to be hooking us up. So she used to have all the exotic for that back then.
And I do remember trying.
Y'all okay with bringing Ferg back up right now from last week?
I'm cool.
Oh, cool.
All right, I'm looking for your inbox, Ferg.
But I remember, like my son, you know, he had a little thing, got caught with weed, and we was asking him about drugs and how, you know, getting in this business. Nowadays, these kids got phones at school. They ordering anything they want on apps and getting it delivered at lunchtime.
It's crazy, and that's the
they
parents'
can't have
fault.
phones here no more.
What do you
They
mean
gotta
that's the
lock them
parents'
up.
fault? How is that the parents' fault?
Because the parent giving them access to do it. If they don't,
What 16-year-old don't got a phone?
No. But which 16-year-old got super money to order 50? Because it ain't like it's cheap to order DoorDash.
No, but it's cheap enough, just like it was for us to go buy a burrito. You know what I mean? It's equivalent to that. It was for us to get a set. It's
man,
equivalent to
DoorDash be like $35, man. Come
Which
on.
is expensive as shit to us. But for my son, he do that shit every damn day.
Right. Okay.
And that's what he's saying. Where is he getting
But that's what I'm saying.
$35 every
But
day
he's-
to buy DoorDash?
Right, because right now your son is grown and has a job. Your son is that's what I'm saying. Your son is grown and has a job versus a teenager in high school that's getting DoorDash every day. That's crazy.
Or teenagers with $500 shoes on. The kids got money, man. I remember going to my nephews in them house. They selling shoes for $500 and $600 online and buying shoes.
They flip them.
Yeah, I ain't never bought a damn pair of shoes over $120.
No, they definitely it's big money. It's definitely big money in that.
And that was
they selling Jordans?
All kind of
they be on StockX just selling shoes, and I'm just in there shocked, like $500 and you 15. You know what I mean?
Y'all hold it down. I gotta go give my kids something to eat.
Yeah, so it's a lot of stuff that these kids do that we were doing. It's the same thing, it's just on a different level.
That's all it is. It's like I say, a lot of things have changed, but the more things that's changed, the more that stayed the same. It just progressed a little bit, I think.
It's gotten worse.
It's getting worse. It's progressed.
It's gotten worse because we listen, man. You know.
Well, look at it this way. They called our generation super predators.
No, well, I think they also told Gen X that we will be the ones that failed, right? After they trained us to come out and conquer the world. I don't know.
So what I'm saying is, like for me, right? I don't know about where you, I could imagine because you guys lived a certain lifestyle. But for me, it was like you took a chance with your life if you even walked past certain blocks when I was a teenager.
I think it comes down to the time you was like a teenager. What years? Early 90s was
late
treacherous.
80s, early 90s. Yeah. So what I'm saying is now I don't have that same, like, it ain't that crazy like that now.
No, it's not.
And then our generations was up close and personal killers.
Yeah, because we was outside, and
they wasn't. We didn't have drive-bys here, so because to watch you like they the feds for 2-3 months, catch you where you think you safest at, and nobody know who did it. I can imagine there's so many people walking around with bodies from the late 80s, early 90s, and just unsolved homicides because we didn't have cameras, we didn't have all that.
They going back and solving shit now with DNA. We was just talking about that shit yesterday or something.
But that's when we took a turn for the worse as young adults. I graduated high school in 1986, right? And I grew up in, Kentucky, right? So, some of y'all East Coast, West Coast, right? There was never a time before our generation where black men were taking each other out. There was never a time where we were going around deleting each other at the numbers that we sort of took on at that time. Never in our history. We might have fought.
But that was attributed to the crack era.
Yes, and that's why I always make that statement, right? Because it was a catch-22. Because most people coming out of school, they had vocational skills training, they had aptitude, they could read, write, multiply, read a secondhand clock, do all the things that they needed to survive in the world. Everything. Motherfuckers was learning how to fix shit and didn't have a read instruction one time. Climb up on a roof, fix a car, fix a bike, and they sort of understood that, so they bought the drugs from New York, Texas, Kentucky, California, everywhere. Once them dope hit the street, it affected the mothers.
Yeah.
Once it started affecting the mothers, they were still making babies, right? So we had a high rate of out of wedlock males being born in inner cities. And Gen X, we were the only generation. Well, we started the generation where most of us didn't have a relationship with our sons, and we could live 3 blocks away, 4 blocks away, or you sold and used the 3-strike rule. They sent you down river for 25 years, left your children unprotected.
When did they? When was the 3-strike rule implemented? Because it wasn't.
94.
That wasn't everywhere though, right?
The 3-strike rule affected everybody across the country. It was a law. If you committed crimes 3 times, they sent your ass. It was a law across the country that Bill Clinton and Biden, the presidents that we deemed, are voted. They signed that into law to the black man.
I don't know anybody who commit, and I know some criminals. I don't know anybody who committed. I'm talking about people in and out of jail that ever got a life sentence for committing 3 felonies.
Shit, I did.
That was normal.
Right. It said that New York did not have a standard 3-strike rule law like California. Instead, New York State handles repeated offenders through its persistent felony offender. Yeah, I didn't know anybody who we didn't have that.
It wasn't just in California. It was a national law that they created. Some states may not have implemented as others, but most states did. And that's where a lot of black men got caught up over the last 35 years. And and brothers are starting to recoup themselves from that time. And I would hope that that women understand that and allow some of these fathers and sons to establish some form of communication relationship that could change. You could see a big change in socio-emotional issues with black men. They'll be more confident, younger. You don't have to. It's just a different mess. Even the women would benefit. The girls wouldn't be sort of, participating in this high deviant. Wouldn't too many girls be up on Usher's bed at the concert? They'd be like, my daddy might see this shit. But that's just what we were put in as Gen X. We was the generation that didn't get to raise our children. And it's been effective ever since because our children have children.
Yeah.
As our generation. You know what I'm saying? And we see how the grandkids are a little slow, but you was tough. You know what I'm saying? We was tough. The women was in good shape, we had and now they young and they low confidence. Now people talking about how they feel in the world. I feel you don't supposed to have no nigga. I don't know too many Gen X's walk around in their feelings talking about, man, I feel.
But do you think that was a hindrance because that just was stunting their emotional development?
Yes, it's a hindrance. It shows because most of our children have only saw the side of an emotional part of life. Women are emotional.
If you tell men and women are emotional. So if you tell a young man, from the time he's a child and he falls and scrapes his knee and you tell him be quiet, you acting like a girl. If you're telling this young man that, you are stunting his emotional development, and then when he gets older, you want to know why he is avoidant or lacks emotional intelligence.
No, most fathers don't tell their son don't cry. They don't do that.
I'm sorry. I don't like. We went through this last time, and I'm gonna say this to you. I'm a woman who was raised around men, right? Uncles, fathers, cousins, brothers. A lot of men, barely. I have a lot of girl cousins, but I was raised around men. I have literally seen, and my peers, I have literally time and time again, hear fathers tell their sons or their nephews or their little cousins or their brothers, what are you crying for? You're acting like a girl. Man up. I've literally time and time again heard it. Like I'm not coming off the top of my head with this. This is something that I've seen
in your family.
I just said I grew up a lot of men, and I just named every type of man a woman can have in her family, and then I said my peers as well.
And did those men have emotional issues?
Well, apparently, if you're telling a child that they're acting like another gender because they're crying, man up, boys don't cry and stuff like that. Oh, you good? And then if the mother goes to coddle her son, hug him, kiss him, hey baby, it's okay, kiss his boo-boo, then it's, oh, you treating him, he gonna be a little, you treating him, he gonna be soft. This is what we hear. And then in turn, now you have women repeating these same things to little boys because they're hearing men say it. So it's just a cycle.
Did any of y'all grow up with your father?
I absolutely had a father. Absolutely.
Okay. Any of the fellas?
Absolutely.
Any of the fellas?
Yes.
I'm asking the fellas.
Yes.
On and off, I did. Damn.
He's asking the fellas like.
What you said?
I'm talking about every day.
Yes.
He's asking the
yes.
fellas.
They have fathers too.
I'm not saying Miss Light.
No. I'm
asking the fellas. I'm asking the fellas.
He said he told me that it's Meech's fault.
No, I was asking the guys. Did they grow up with a father in the house?
I did on and off different parts of my life.
Okay.
Yeah, I was raised with my grandfather, who was basically my father, in my opinion.
Okay, and the only reason I asked that because again, that relationship that is built in that daily interaction trumps most of things that you would build, like if we just became friends. And that's what we missed over the last 45 years here in our community. Sons, not even, let's just say, like you said, a father say, son, hey, you don't be, it's a different if you hurt yourself. Most fathers are not going to be unempathetic till you fall and you got pain. But what he will say when it comes to social emotional, he might tell you, don't be crying over that girl. Don't be crying because you got into a fight. Because next time we're going to fight. That's all I'm saying. When it comes to certain things, now, if you just damn right have no empathy for you can clearly see your child got some damn bones sticking out of his leg. Something wrong with you. But in those relationships that are built, it gives both parties the confidence to make better decisions, to avoid certain guys, because we see it. People they claim the man that they got babies by wasn't shit. A father could see that coming. A good mother could let you know, don't mess with Bonquisha. She ain't, you know what I'm saying? But by nature, we like, mama, she fine though. So we might not listen the first 3-4 times when she come knocking at the door. But I think once we make that mistake, because we claim we don't wake up till we 25 in our neighborhoods, I don't know why, but most people are not going to keep going down the same mistake wall if you got two viable people that love you by default, mama and daddy, giving you the game that you need. Because the mamas, they keep it real. You can see how those sons turn out. The mamas that lie, the fathers that play the game in front of the kid's face.
Yeah, no, I definitely think you need both parents to get that balance. And that's what, I mean, maybe fathers was tougher, like, especially back in the day, because you had the mom that can provide that balance. You already getting baby by your mom, but that ain't about the baby.
No.
And it's a balance, I mean, I'm not unempathetic to my kids, but sometimes you got to walk it off. You know what I mean? You can't cry about
Grandpa
yeah, I wasn't saying the kid is half dead and dying and the man is still like, get up. So what if your bone is broke? No, I'm talking about like if they fall a little scrape. Like, I mean, no, let's not make it the extreme.
Yeah.
Yeah, my granddad, he was definitely the cooler of the two between him and my grandma.
Granddaddy was, grandma didn't play.
He was the cooler of the two. He was the more if you even want to say empathetic, because he had his own little things too. You know what I'm saying? That he told me my feet, I'm still recovering my feet to this day because he said men don't wear lotion. You know what I'm saying? So for the first 25 years of my life, I kid you not, first 25 years of my life, I didn't wear lotion. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't until I got with my second wife that she was like, man, if you don't put some lotion on these doggone feet, you know what I mean? Put some lotion on. So some of those things, like you said, some of those things that you're told by men that you look as like, hey, you're my teacher. Some of that stuff can stick, right? So even though I was influenced by friends and all that stuff and got involved in the gang culture, little did I know at that time, because I was being raised by them, that they were establishing a foundation that I didn't know that subconsciously was still there. To where when I finally got, I think I was like between 17 and 18, that's when I was like, yeah, you know what? Like this,
it ain't worth it.
This ain't the life that I want. I want kind of like what I've been seeing, because even though they wasn't really teaching me, they was teaching me by doing.
Right.
So it's like I'm seeing this all going on, and I'm like, you know what? I'd rather have that. I wanted all my kids by one woman. I wanted to, have a wife, be married 50 years. I think they was married 50-something years at their death.
Dang.
And so it's like I little did I know that that's what I kind of wanted. And then, I mean, unfortunately, it didn't play out like that. Life be lifing. But like that's when I discovered, like, oh, you know what? It's not just the friends. Friends do have a major influence on you, right? But the parents is the ones who really lay that foundation. And they're the ones who, like, if you're teaching you certain morals and certain things about you. So that's if you got that pimp dad or that dope dealer dad, and you're seeing this kind of like in Menace to Society when Cain saw his dad doing that. So of course, naturally, he went into that life, and that's all he knew. He didn't get the foundation. So even though his grandparents tried to give it, it was too late.
Do you think that because I agree with what you say, but I also look at it from another angle, right? Another perspective. Because kids they have their own personalities. And sometimes what I see with children is, even with my peers growing up, you know how you meet somebody's parents and you be like, this is like, how are these people your parents? Like, because what are you, like, how are these people, not these people, like, you would think you was going to meet some parents that was, like you said, into certain things, and you find out your friend got two working parents, and they, go to work, and this one outside being a knucklehead. So I kind of think that it's up to them to, no matter, I think it's up to the child to apply all of the things that you taught them, right? Core values, all of these things, morals, values, all of these things that you've shown them. Because sometimes, even with that, they go on their own path.
Yeah, but it's levels to it, right? Because both of what y'all saying is true, right? Because he said the foundation, and part of that foundation is those morals and values and those action words. See, people don't believe that I don't know, y'all can look it up, but I think it's about 6 or 7 when they start losing those 2 front teeth, when children start really paying attention to you. And they see everything that you do, and they're not going to verbalize that you're doing some dumb shit in front of them. They're not going to say, Daddy, why you smoking weed? Daddy, why you doing it? They're not going to do that. They're just going to observe it and watch it. And then once they get about 12 or 13, they're going to start demonstrating the level of attention that you give them. If you're not paying attention to them in school, whatever, they might just be bullshitting in school. If you're not paying attention to them in their room and cleaning up the house and giving them responsibility, they're just going to let your house get dirty as hell. And then if you're not paying attention to how they respect the others, they ain't going to respect you at some point. And I say that because as the levels grow, especially today, because as adults, there's no manual to say how to be a perfect parent, right? But there is information and tools to say, oh, I could do this too, and add it and apply it, because as the trust builds with the parents, Miss Light, you say you've been around men. I can see the confidence in you. I believe you made some good decisions. You know what I'm saying, as far as family.
I've made some bad ones too.
Yeah, but they didn't.
I've made some bad ones too.
But they didn't. But they take you over the top though. Did you make such a mistake where you couldn't? That it took you to 50 to recover. See, that's the most. To me, especially 21 to 41, I call it the bull years of an adult. You can go anywhere in the world without anybody's permission. You can go in any spot because you're of age. You have the autonomy that you could travel the world on your own. You can hitchhike to California from New York if you've been given, certain tools on survive and things like that. You can live in the wild. And I think if whatever you get before 21, it sort of either helps you or hurts you as an adult in your prime working years. Because after 40, you know what I'm saying, your age of wisdom could kick in, but is it kicking in to the betterment of you or the worst part? I think people get caught in the middle of that time because from 40 to 65, and y'all younger than me, I have y'all put in y'all best work. So when y'all do get 65, do y'all want to retire at 62, 65, or 67? And young people have to work out, and you see a lot of these automated jobs and just think you're going to pick up a box and take it over here and all that. That's being taken over by AI. So what are people going to do when they prime working year? Gen X, we out the game. We the last generation that have put in the work over the last 25 years. And some brothers who may have been down the river for 20 years, they still got time to work. It's just going to take them a little longer.
Yeah.
And most can make better sense of life now. Most look back like I was fucked up. We can admit it where we went wrong and we sort of moved different. But it's a lot of people giving up early. You're seeing it in more diabolical times now. Teens are more boisterous, they have confidence, but are they going to the malls to, get to know each other and build unity? Are they going down there to tear up some shit? And the police are going to treat them accordingly. But here we are, I think all of y'all mature. So, just hope everybody's moving and making the best decisions, regardless of how people feel. Because I think all y'all got young people behind y'all and y'all want to see them get old and ugly like us. I hope. I would hope. Yes, sir.
So when you say that we did wrong, or like, to me, like at one point when he was talking, I was like, okay, we can hold responsibility to what we did. At the same time, if we don't look at what is causing it, we will never be able to address the situation like totally. So it's like, yeah, like we were doing things. A lot of our things that we were doing, we was actually under influence. And sometimes it wasn't from our parents. Like, a lot of it had to do with media, like the media changed. And it changed with us, and then the kid, like these kids, their media is like even more potent and thick, as far as like it's actually targeting it now, like from little. So if we don't address those type of issues, like to see like, okay, what are we gonna do? I'll put it this way. Like Hasidic Jews, or just like the Jewish people, they don't give their children like access to the internet. It's a lot of people who don't really do that. So it's like, if we're not taking control over the minds of our children and stop allowing someone else to dictate what our children is digesting either
Mm-hmm.
physically, visually, or
Mm-hmm.
verbally. Like this conversation is going to keep repeating itself from generation to generation. We got to get to the head of the family.
I think again, Brother Meach and Sister Light sort of touched on it, right? It comes down to your foundation. Your foundation should be your family, right? Especially, I'll say this: the mature people in your family should be able to, and typically that would come from both mother and father. Some people can be great grandmother, but Gen X, we ain't the same grandmamas that we had. Damn it, Gen X ain't those type, right? We still trying to be cool. We still got our b-boy looks. That's who we are. That's what we grown up in, right? But the wisdom is still there, right? And those influences, I think I said some. I don't know if it was this. It comes down to some of the. Remember back when they were trying to censor the music?
Yeah.
And they would have been able to take everybody would have been rapping and capping like Will Smith.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that could have that sort of influence. If we would have just went to that, like we didn't vote for it. We thought it was a bad thing, right? But if you looking back, that would have definitely gave us a more positive image.
Yeah, because it was keeping us on the morals and principles that we were supposed to remain on.
Yes.
And we looked at it as if it was like an older lady trying to control us.
Yes.
When she was really just giving us like the wisdom that like y'all are giving away your spirit.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
You're pretty much
and the problem with that was the way that they approached it, right? Because the elders of the civil rights, they would have went into the churches and they would have discussed this amongst the men and the families. They would have did this first, but then pro civil rights, they used the church for something totally different. The community was built of fathers, uncles, grandfathers, and even the single women had some sense about them. You know what I'm saying, with the boys.
I think they would have been more receptive to Dionne Warwick and Dolores Tucker, had Bob Dole and a bunch of other others didn't try to step in. But again, we was just talking about this before you came on. Did they like all of this stuff could go? We can find this type of music, maybe not rap, not the genre of rap, but dirty blues. All of these things been around for how long?
Yeah, but that doesn't get the airplay.
Right,
See,
but it didn't get the airplay, but it got played in the home.
Yeah, it could help.
So this is where these people that started to say these certain things, it's a mixture of all of the music before them.
Right, but okay, I'll put it this way. So you remember when we controlled our tongue, we lost the control. Like I'll put it like the song with like Common Sense, like I used to love it, like that song right there. We pretty much was speaking the way that we needed to speak to one another through our music. But when it became, we handed it over to somebody else to feed us from it because they was offering more than us continually just building upon ourselves. It switched. So at that moment, we lost control of our.
I feel like we lost control because we never owned anything.
But that's what he's saying. Both of y'all saying what both of y'all saying.
No, I'm not disagreeing. I'm not disagreeing with him.
I didn't say
I'm
that.
just saying that we lost control because we never owned anything. So it's like
I didn't say you disagree.
And then you look at the thing, because listen, we are like, I know that we're targeted, right, as a people, but we're not the whole world is being targeted. Like, it's crazy. And then when you see it, it's like when you see it, you can't unsee it. And it's hard to tell people about it because then they think you're crazy.
Facts. Like
the whole world
it's an attack on humanity itself.
Right. It's an attack on humanity.
Well, I don't see it that way, but
it is, and it's been happening for a long time. And we've had people throughout decades blowing whistles and telling people, and you know what they said? Oh, it's just a conspiracy theory. But then
That's
now we starting to
America.
see it. We seeing it happen. It's coming to fruition. It's playing out in our faces.
Yeah, but every other nation of people gets an opportunity to defend themselves, but us.
Well, I
We
mean,
have an
we
opportunity.
we know,
You have an
we
opportunity.
do or we don't because we're not a separate. We do or
No,
we don't.
we're
We
not
in
a
America.
collective.
Well,
Like
yeah,
we're
but
not a collective.
yeah, we're not a collective internally, but externally, we're not separated. We're not separated. Have y'all been in America all of your life? As a
Yeah,
collective, we've been separated, but we don't get to defend our own rights
Why not?
because a part of the separation that's been sort of, I guess, perpetuated pushed on us in a sense.
So who was the perpetuator and who pushed it on us?
Shit, the same white people that pay you your checks.
So
They stowed up on our grandfathers, our grandmothers.
so like I said, until we deal with the situation the way that we need to deal with the situation, it's not going to change.
Because most of us don't want to deal with our situation. Well, we run from our own identities instead of dealing with it.
what is our identities? Because we've been identified so many different times. Do we even know what our identity is?
Understanding that our family and our ability to communicate with our families openly and honestly through fathers and mothers.
But with what context?
With the context of you got to look at the reality of what's going on in everybody's situation because it has to build itself. We have to have sort of like we have a memorandum, right? And everybody in a family is going to get that same memorandum. And then they have to go into their group and discuss it and come up with some bylaws. And then those bylaws have to come together and sort of have a set standard within from us top to bottom, men and women alike, certain laws. We could say, hey, this doesn't help our family. This doesn't help our future. So we need to do away with this law as it comes to us because we still have to take our unified issues to the people that's running this country. But they won't recognize that until we stand together.
But why? Okay, so when you say until we stand together, right? First, like, okay, let me see. I just don't want to just go on a ramble. So
let
when
me
you
ask you this
say
one.
until we say stand together, and we can't go to them and present it to them, they're not going to give us anything, or it's not going to change because we are not doing it as a collective. So if we were to do it as a collective, why would we even go to them anyway?
Because we still had to say, hey, we want to separate. We still had to go because they understand they look at us as a major commodity in this country. We are one of the major reasons that the USAA as it stands can function as it does. So we have to be able to come to have our collective to say, hey, these are our demands of this country. And it has to be both men and women. And I'll say 18 to 75 standing. Because there has to be some certain foundation. I'm sorry.
All right, so I'm asking you this question. Can you give like if you was the person that we chose to present this, like how would you, like what principles and everything would you give us?
I would start early in reference to dismantling the no fault divorces. I would implement if a mother and father create a child and they're not married, they must attend the parenting classes at least 8 weeks. They can go together, or they can go separate, but they must go to let them see outside of our mouths the importance of both of them being able to work together to some capacity.
You don't think that married couples should do parenting classes as well?
Listen, I'm putting married couples in there too.
I was just asking because you did say if they're not married, that's all.
But the reason why I say that, because 80% of our children are born in those conditions over the last 25, 35 years. So I'm trying to alleviate that. As at least if we like each other, we gonna have sex. So even if we listen, we like each other so much, we can sleep together within less than a week, a few days of each other. So even if we do create this body, this being, then we both are responsible.
But you don't think that was part of the reason why shotgun weddings existed? But I want to hear your talking points. I don't want to go into that right now. We can we can circle back. I just want to hear.
So I just say 5, right? So I gave 2. The other one would be to ensure once you go into the 7th grade, your teaching would be a little different. You would get some of the similar things that we had back in middle school. You'll get the home ec class, you'll get the wood shop class. And as you get into high schools, you'll have some of those same classes, including the vocational skills training. You can choose your path. It used to be they would take people from different schools and bus them to a specific location. Now they set it up where they have to choose a path. They'll go to one school. It's in one school, but I'll just make it, hey, you want to go into culinary arts, those things that are big, animation, you can go over here. You know what I'm saying? We'll bus you, because I think the history of America needs to change. We need to know that we started somewhere way before slavery, because our true history shows how much we have invented in America and in the world. We have some of the greatest examples in Africa, in Egypt, of what we did in the world. So that has to be given to young minds to say, oh, there was people that looked like me that was doing this stuff thousands of years ago.
No.
And I would
Good shit. Already checked earlier.
Check again.
Allow young people to have free. I would do it sort of like the Middle East. If you do a crime against a child, then we might just put you on the block on national TV.
Down and look. It might have rolled to the back.
Take care of house. And I would.
You're not muted.
Bend down and look, because
yeah, I would just do it that way, because I think young people need to be given a fair opportunity, and those that don't have those situations for both, we would definitely get them in some type of social emotional therapy sessions, even if we're doing round circles. And I would make a space for women to have to go sit in groups and talk to other women about problems, but also in those sessions, you have to be coming up with solutions. And the man too, to help get over that, that issue of the lack of, somebody, because it comes down to people. A lot of our issues come down to people within our family, or people that we would deem should love us by default. And definitely some money. You know what I'm saying? Give us something. It's 40 million of us. I think for every adult, if you 18 or 21, then I would want to break everybody off. I would break, 500,000, whatever, and say go where you want. And that'd be me.
Okay.
So let's examine this real quick. You said you would end no fault divorce. So what would divorce look like? Because we know that some people just cannot stay together. It's not good for the children. It's not good for anybody in the household. So what would that look like?
So if we got children, that means we've been together for some years. Whoever submits the divorce, you leave the home. And if your children are over 12, 13, they get to decide who they go with. Same as foster care. If you have a child if you have a 12-year-old child in some states, 13 in others, they can say, I don't want to live with you. I want to go live with daddy. I want to go live with mama. So I would just make it the same thing.
How would this mediate? How would this mitigate these generational cycles though? Because I'm like, because one thing we can say for absolutely certain that we see, that is absolutely seen in the stats is the whole 70-80% of us are born to single parent households. Well, when you look at this next generation that's coming up, these Gen Zs, birth rates is down. They don't have the teenage pregnancy epidemic. A lot of them are not even having kids at all. So
is it a good thing?
But that's what I'm saying. So
I think I touched on it.
Is that a good thing? Is it a bad thing? What I'm saying is that is something we have to address. So if in one hand we're gonna say that being born to a single parent household is bad, and then so these kids that don't want to get married because they don't value marriage because the generation before them didn't teach them to value marriage, which is their parents, which is our generation. They didn't see a lot of us be married because a lot of us didn't get married. They just had baby mamas and baby daddies. So they don't even value marriage. And now they don't even understand the importance of bringing forth another generation to replace the generation before. How is this get mitigated? How are we going? How can you know what I mean?
I touched on that, Tim, earlier. I don't know if you was listening, but I said if there's a child being created, then both are required to go to parenting classes.
Right. No, I heard you saying that. But what I'm saying is this next generation behind us, they learned from watching, like
but they learned the negative though.
I don't know if it was
the negative side of it.
I don't know if it was Percy or if it was Meech that said it, that you learn by the behaviors that you saw. So they grew up watching their mama be a single mama struggling, and they daddy wasn't around, her mama saying your daddy ain't shit, your daddy. So they grew up and they say, you know what, this is not what I want for me.
Right.
So those girls, instead of going getting pregnant, they go to school, they get their stuff together, and then they're not having kids. They're not getting
travel. Yeah, they're not even thinking about having these girls ain't thinking about having a baby. And it's a good thing, but it's a bad thing because now we're lacking in replacement population.
Right. And that's what I was going to say. It's a catch-22 because you talk about the future, they ain't trying to lead the future forward. They already saying I'm not going to do it, and it's on both sides. It's the men and the women are saying that this is what they don't want because it goes back to that family dynamic that they lacking. They didn't see mother and father raising them balanced, so they're going to choose a side based off what they experience, and based off of what they experience has been pretty much negative. But I'll be guaranteed if most got to be raised with father. And not saying they being in the same house, but being able to have that access, you can pull up on a Tuesday, Wednesday, and just let's ride, son, let's ride, daughter. You know what I'm saying? Those are confidence builders.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry.
No, you good.
No, I get confused, right? Because at some point I feel like people are talking out of both sides of their necks, right? Because you have this statistics that says 72% of children are born to a single mother household. But then when you look at the statistic, you see that's a broad umbrella, right? Because that includes divorced, widow, and cohabitating mothers. Then they have another statistic that say Black men are the most involved fathers. So which is it? They don't have no fathers, or like it's really like it's kind of like out of both sides of the net at this point. Like I'm just like. It's crazy because how could Black men be the most involved fathers, but yet all of these babies are being born to just single mothers? Because single is just a status. It's just a status. So that doesn't mean that the father is not involved.
Right. Meech and Janelle, y'all want to chime in? I ain't heard Meech and Janelle. Are they still on?
Yeah, I'm still on.
I'm still here.
I think I'm gonna have to start arguing with Meech to get him to start talking. So can y'all kind of like break that down to me, because it doesn't make sense. The statistics don't make sense at this point.
Right, because somebody got, like she said, somebody got to be lying. Okay, so the problem is that all of these kids are born to single parent household, which is predominantly the mother. Then you hear the mother saying, "Oh, your daddy ain't this, your daddy ain't no good. The daddy, these men need to step up and da da da." But then there's the stat that says the black men are the most involved fathers of any demographic of fathers. They're more involved than the white man, more than Mexican man, more than Chinese man,
right?
The Asian man.
But do y'all know how to break that down though?
Oh, I do. I know what it means.
Fathers that are
the people that's complaining, the people that have the issues are going to be the ones who complain. It's just like if you buy something from Amazon, right, and it works as it should, there's no need. You're probably not going to leave a review. But if it don't work, then you're going to leave a review. So what we're hearing is the people who got negative reviews, right? But you're not going to hear from the baby dads that's doing what they need to do. They're not going out there cheerleading, saying like, "Hey, my baby daddy does everything he's supposed to." You're not going to hear that.
You hear that? You hear that a lot. But is it that the statistics? Is it? Hold on, Timothy. Is it that the statistics are skewed to make us look a certain type of way?
Yeah, they're gonna try to make us look bad.
Well, there's that, and then we can have John come over here, the numbers guy. A lot of it is that a lot of people just don't understand how the stats are even put together. Like somebody just put in the comments, the stats aren't related, and the reason it's like the stat that says of all black men are the most involved fathers of all demographic of fathers. Number one, that sample size is teeny tiny.
Yeah.
Number two, that's of all fathers that stick around, because uninvolved fathers are not a part of that statistic. You see what I'm saying? So to even be included in that statistic, you got to be around, one, and then that sample size is small on top of that.
Right. And that's why when a lot of people spit that 72% of children are being born to single mothers, they haven't even looked at the umbrella. It's a broad umbrella. It's so broad that a few years ago, maybe some years ago, somebody did an article on it, and they were saying that the umbrella is so broad that they even included single fathers in that statistic to make the statistic a higher number.
Yeah, they always do that.
So for example, if me and my wife got divorced today, I left for 3 days and came back. We still legally divorced, but I just came back. We made up. We didn't get remarried or nothing. I just moved back home. She on paper is still listed as a single mother.
Yeah.
Even though I moved back home, I'm in the house. On paper.
And a lot of people don't have it.
The statistic comes from the paperwork. It comes from the tax code.
But that's where the information gets skewed, right? Because out of those people that have children that involved, meaning he's going to the football games, he's trying to be in the child's life. Most black men, they know they got their son that look like their ass, and they've been having access to their sons. They going everywhere their son is. They trying to show him how to shoot the ugly jump shot, trying to show him how to run the football. They're going to try to encourage them to do a lot of things. And that involvement, not just, okay, I pay child support, and they're going to show up. Most white fathers ain't attentive to their sons like that. They figure that shit out. They don't show up like that. So they ain't playing baseball and football with it. They don't do it.
I wouldn't say that.
So y'all fathers did people grow up with it?
The reason I'm saying I wouldn't say that, and this is 100% anecdotal. The city I grew up in is when I moved here, it was relatively small, and they had a lot of soccer leagues and a lot of little league baseball fields, and that's all I saw. The block I lived on, my neighbor across the street, Anthony, I grew up with him. He was my first friend I made out here. They were clear. His daddy took him to little league, soccer, the whole nine. They would pitch the ball in the yard. He would invite me over. You want to pitch the ball too? Because my daddy was a truck driver, so he was gone. He was present, but he was absent.
And one of the places I grew up in, where my grandmother lived, was a predominantly white community, and those white fathers were there doing so. I just think that the statistics are skewed. They control us through the statistics. They make us view ourselves a certain way. So this is why we're having these type of conversations, because if we know, because I'm gonna say something from from all the years I've been on this earth, the young men today are absolutely involved. I see these young men, they be having one baby strapped to them, the other one in a stroller. They be going to pick them kids up from school, take them to school, take them to their games, take them wherever they're doing. They go on vacations as a group with their children. I'm seeing them be more involved than the men of my generation. So even if they're not with the mother. And a lot of these young men, I hear men my age, the next 10 years underneath me crying, oh, court and blah, blah, blah. These young men are taking these girls to court if they have to. They not playing no more. So this whole, even the whole single mother statistic is something, I don't know, it makes the people who aren't really looking, because a lot of these people are only on the internet. Like I keep saying, go outside. You gotta go outside. You go outside, you see a whole different world.
Yeah, you gotta go outside. I'll go to the schools. You can show up at your kid's school one day, just go eat lunch with them. They gonna think you're a superhero when you walk in there.
Well, I don't know, because I know like my sister's 40. The fathers from 40 and under, I see a lot. They really, really involved.
Right, because that's why the black men are the most involved. We want to help. Most black men, I would think, we see life as a reality when we start having children. Right, we don't want to see how. I don't know if y'all talked about this. Don't no man want to go in the script club and see his daughter up on the pole. No. Don't no man want to hear about his son that's wearing his sister's clothes.
They'll go and see somebody else's daughter, though.
Well, but
that's still degenerate behavior.
It's degenerate behavior because in reality today, men ain't going alone to the stripper club. They ain't going alone. That's how perverted we become. If let's just say that space was just for man, right? It ain't just our space no more in this reality, 2026. So yeah, I would say you would want to raise your child to where they're not even privy. They know about those environments, but to go there to be a lifestyle, you're talking about some major trauma.
But this is stuff that's been happening for generations.
Well, at some point, it needs to break.
I agree. But the whole premise of this show is how we get older and we start pointing the fingers at these kids like we weren't once those kids.
Most people do point the fingers at the kids. That's unfortunate because most people don't even get out and try to work with the young people. Most Gen Xers, ain't nobody doing that. I ain't see nobody in the schools and in the community centers. It's tough because we were built to sort of figure things out, and most people did, and I don't know. People are giving up on young people.
Each generation does the same thing. Each generation points their finger at the children and be like, look at them kids. And I think that's one of my pet peeves because I know what I've seen, what I've experienced, I understand. But like I said, I'm a girl from since I was young. I have always talked to my elders, whether it was a family member or just some people from the community. And the way and if they keep it real, if your elders keep it real, they will tell you the same thing. Our parents looked at us the same way. So each generation tells the next generation, but they turn around and point the finger at. So I don't know. I just I don't know, but I do commend these. I really, really want to applaud these young men because I see them. I see them, and if nobody don't see them, I see them. I see them. I see these young girls doing their thing. They're not just laying up and having babies. If they do have babies, they still out there working, doing their thing. So going to school still, doing what they got to do.
So why are we promoting family and marriage in our community? Because I would think if those options were highly available, I would think what most would want, because I know, I don't know about these guys, but I know at some point early adulthood for a lot of men, we start getting that twinkle in our eye for marriage, right? We like, man, I want me a wife. You know, it may not last long, but it's at some point when you become a man, you feel like you're at work. And I know all y'all done thought about some little wife that could be cohabitating with y'all early. It might have been a short-lived process based off your relationship experience, but most people would want that. But what they see and they breaking the cycle. I'm glad to see younger people stepping away from just being a baby mama, baby daddy. My son's 23, so.
Cohabitation is a thing, right? And it's always.
But cohabitation, it's a very slippery slope. Because you can invest in there and then something happened to where you have to make major decisions. You don't have that authority.
Yeah, I mean, I get that part, but it happens and it's been happening. Marriage is a slippery slope as well. And
I mean, but it's 50-50.
I think people are seeing that, right?
Because of the laws. That's the laws. Remember, if we to change the no-fault divorce laws, then I think more people would stay in marriages.
I don't think so.
Well,
I think less people would get married.
I think
hold on. We got a no-fault divorce law. A woman can just walk out of your life and probably get half your shit. If they change that law to where if you leave, you take your little suitcase, your bags, and you get up through and you leave them babies with me because they born and raised in this house. I think more people would at least be willing to try it out. Especially young people. I ain't talking about you old.
There's a thing now, Coach, that women are giving these men their babies and they're calling them and begging them to take them back.
But those guys don't know themselves, because if you got your own children, man, you like, my man just went to go feed his kids. He feel like, fuck you too. I'm going to take care of my babies. I mean, right. You ain't trying to focus on that, then you're going to struggle.
But I mean, it's these are things that are happening. We can't ignore the things that are happening to just look at some ideal, perfect picture. They are men. I've seen a story with this lady, and she was saying how this man was relentlessly taking her to court, harassing her to get the kids. And finally, she just was like, okay, you know what? Have them. You can have them. And then 10 days later, he was trying to haul her back into an emergency session to make her get 50-50 custody back. And she was like, it was unreal. It was unbelievable because he thought that everything was just so easy. Because a lot of times some men aren't paying attention to it's not that easy.
Yeah, some underline. I would like to hear both sides of that story. That'd be a unique story.
There's a whole bunch of stories. Like I even there's this live that I watch on TikTok. This lady, she's a content creator, and she has some very interesting topics. And for the last 3 days, she had her topic was, is child support a scam, or are men having babies they can't afford, making babies they can't afford? And the stuff that you hear some of these men say, it's like, what? Like, what are you talking about? And you have other men up there checking them, like, listen, if you know you don't have it, why are you laying up making a baby and then trying to blame this woman?
Yeah, that's because most men are not raised by fathers, responsible fathers and mothers. Because a mother and father who's attentive to their young stud son and daughter will be giving them that message over years and let them know that if you do make this baby, you will be responsible to take care of.
Well, they feel like
It ain't about what they feel.
I know it's not about what they feel.
Oh, you
but
say feelings. All right, here you go.
What they feel like is, I shouldn't have to give you money for my children. Or if I do give you money for my children, and let's be for real, most men that are on child support, first of all, Black women are only 25 to 27% on the child support roll, which means most Black women don't get child support. They feel like if I'm giving you $178 a month, right? Because the average child support payment across the board is $450. That's the average. Not saying that that's what all men pay. Some men pay $1,000, some pay $1,000, some pay more. But it's like, if I get $178 a month in child support, by the time that child support check hit, I done covered your 178 and more. So why are you claiming that I went and bought a house with your child support money?
But this is where the scam come in, right?
Because there are people that do that. Maybe
not with $178 a month.
Yeah, but we're not talking about $178. Yeah. And you can buy a house in Mexico for that.
That was the number that
I'm pretty sure the $178 dude ain't the one that's saying you buying a house with my money. I'm pretty sure that's usually the NBA players, the $5,000-$6,000 a month.
It's guys that $60 a month that are complaining about she went and bought a new car.
Yeah, but here's where the scam come in, right? Because both the selfish as adults are thinking about money, and we seeing it play out as people are coming out now. What about the young child's social emotional well-being?
And now that's one of the problems that I have, because I feel like, yes, it does take money to raise a child. And the financial responsibility should not just be all on the custodial parent. But even if you are paying child support for a child comes with emotional, mental, and all of that.
So Miss Light, with you saying that, this is my makeshift scenario. We together. We create a slow ass son, a daughter, whichever one, right? I was a shitty guy. I messed around with your best friend. That was her too. I'm a shitty boyfriend. However, we got this child. Do we put our feelings aside? Because again, I don't care about feelings now, and think about the well-being of this child. Meaning,
of course, just because you're just because you was a shitty man to me does not mean you're not a good father.
There you go. Now, this is the mindset that I need most of the day. Listen, instead of taking the baby to your mama's house, your friend's house, your cousin's house, I ain't doing shit on a Tuesday night. Bring the baby to me. Because again, I said earlier, both parents going to parenting classes. So we got the information on how to make sure our child is meeting metrics and goals as they advance and get older in life. So yeah, bring the baby to me. When my baby starts school, who's on the emergency contact? His daddy. Here's his daddy's number. When they have a report card pickup, guess who's coming? Me and you. We can sit on two different sides of the classroom, but we right there looking at our child's face like, see, we ain't letting you be a statistic out here. We working together despite what we feel.
Right, and I agree with you. I agree with you on that, but this is happening on both sides, right? You have women that are bitter because of the outcome of the relationship, and you also have men that are bitter. So that from both sides, 9 times out of 10, both sides it's destroying the well-being of the child. Because it's not just women doing it, it's men that walk away and say, well, if you don't want to be with me, or you got that new man over there, let him do it. Yes. So it's happening on both sides. And it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous when from either side, it's ridiculous.
Yes. If you don't want to be a part of your child's life, listen, it's going to cost you $600 a month.
I think it's more of it's not that they don't want to be, it's that they want to spite the mother. and don't realize that they're just hurting the child, or vice versa, to spite the father and don't realize they're hurting the child.
You believe most men don't have a relationship with their kids because they want to spite them?
I didn't say that. I never said that. I never said that.
You said men that do
said
that.
both sides. I said I just and after I said the men, I put it in reverse to the woman.
Oh, so most people are just trying to spite each other.
I didn't say most either. I would never
No,
say
I
most.
said,
I don't know.
well, well, out of those people who are spiting each other, it's just more people are going off of spite and just trying to one up the other person than.
Yeah, because they haven't healed from their emotional trauma.
It's crazy. Even 10 years later, people
Yeah.
are still carrying. Oh well.
Sometimes some people hold on to that hurt all their life.
So do you think the children hold on to those things too all their life?
Very possible.
Yeah,
man.
That's what therapy exists for.
The kids hold on to it, which is why they grow up to repeat a lot of the same behaviors. Because
Exactly.
that was the standard. That was the standard that they had set for them. See, the whole conversation boils down to, it was a documentary I saw years ago that was satire, but it wasn't satire, but it was satire. It was called The Diary of a Tired Black Man. And it was a documentary a dude did on credit cards. But in that documentary, there's a scene where he goes and he talks to the clinical psychologist, and the clinical psychologists say the issue is that too many of us grow up in a household learning what love is in a household where they never saw love.
Right.
If you are a son, if you got two siblings, a brother and a sister, they growing up in the same household, that if those kids never see their mother interact in a healthy way with a man, they are not going to know how to interact healthy with their counterparts when they get older. Whatever dynamic their mother has set for them is going to be the precedent that they're going to follow. Possibly not, but more than usually that's the precedent depending on if it's super negative or not. Because like I said,
I got a little pushback on you, Tim, because why do you keep saying the mother? Because it's both parents at that point.
Because I was getting ready to say, the next thing I was getting ready to say was, if you don't, that's what I said, if you never grow up seeing a man be in a healthy relationship with a woman, you're not going to know how to do that either. That's what I'm saying. Both if the son never sees his father be in a healthy relationship with a woman, he's not going to know how to do it. If that daughter grows up and never sees a woman be in a healthy relationship with a man, she's not going to know how to do it. They're going to have to get their examples through the Cosby Show. Like, we old, so we're going to say the Cosby. But what are these kids got now? We had the Cosby Show. What do they got? Loving hip hop?
And then a lot of times too, when you have parents that are pretending, kids know this. They know that. They know that it's not real. Kids are way more smarter than we think. And it always takes me back to all closed eyes ain't sleep. Because kids, you can sit there and pretend, and kids know, they'll get older and be like, y'all never really liked each other that much. All this pretending y'all was doing.
Yeah.
Somebody burped.
You sort of repeated everything I said earlier. Kids watch their parents. They just won't. You don't hear people talking about how bad they had it in life until they older. Till they get out from under the covering of their parents, they start breaking away. We're seeing it, but instead of using that as motivation, a lot of them use it for an excuse not to try to heal and advance.
I want to play this clip because I just was looking for some clips to play right now, and this dude is talking about. He's talking about both men and women not being strong. He's leaning heavy to one side, but then he tries to clean it up. But did John just fall off? Yeah.
Real men want to take care of their children.
I agree.
The problem starts when they feel like the woman it's also making it hard for them to be the father that they want to be, and it's being controlled either by them or by a court system. It's really disgusting, and that's when we start talking about the business aspect of it. We start treating our kids like either a way to get back at somebody or a business relationship to figure out how you're going to pay some bills. We need to talk about some of these women, a lot of these women that make it hard for real men to be the fathers that they want to be in their child's life. And then the bad part is that a lot of us aren't strong enough to deal with that pressure, so we walk away. And then when you add the other factor of a damn court system, who are you to tell me how much I need to pay for my child? It's demeaning, especially when we struggling with enough in earth, just trying to get by, just trying to figure out how to maneuver in life, and then also have a positive influence in our children. Yo, I did one of the.
All right. So the
And
point.
see, this is where I be having pushback because it's become a climate of where it's always just the woman's fault. And then on top of that, Timothy, is a lot of these men don't know what child support is for, like what it's for. It seems like they think it's clothes, just clothes.
Well, even though he said it like this, he did say it like this. He said that the real sad part is that there's a lot of men that aren't strong enough to deal with the pressures and still fight to see their kids.
Yeah, my dad said that to me.
And now me, I'm cut from a cloth to where I don't believe anybody should have to fight to be a parent. That's just crazy to me, the whole thought. But I'm not naive to say that it's not a reality. And
I know about it.
And the fact of the matter is, and my perspective, and my perspective is from the other side. I was the custodial parent that had the other parent that didn't fight, but wanted to say, "Oh, you took my baby from me. Oh, you took my baby from me." No, I never said you couldn't. You know what I mean? So I do agree that, you know, a lot of the narrative that's coming from men in particular always seem to point the finger at women, but they can only speak from their own personal experiences. The same way, if I play a quick clip from a woman talking, she gonna say these men need to do this, and y'all not being real men, and y'all not being fathers, and the men. That's just how it's going. That's just how it's gonna happen. That's just.
And I would have pushback on that. I would have pushback on that too, because, like I said, to me, most times it's coming from both sides. But the thing that I've noticed, and this is something that I've noticed for quite some time, for some years, you always get the men who want to be fathers, who want to be there. They get these women that give them a hard time. And then the women who aren't going, the women who aren't going to give the man the hard time and will let him be a father, he gives her the hard time. It's so weird. Like, why would that happen?
I got pushback on that, sister, because again, most men believe that that's a good woman until things go wrong. Most good men get pushed in those positions because, again, he wants to be there, but if she's not allowing him based off of just because they split up and he got a girlfriend and doing other things, that becomes a problem. And I would.
Coach, you can't tell me
So y'all saying men are bypassing a woman's behavior when they meet her and getting her pregnant.
I would say
that.
Yeah.
What I was gonna
right.
say is this. What I was gonna say is this. What I want to say is this. I think that the same exact. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
I think that the same exact what's the word, excuse, reason, blame, or whatever that I see a lot of men, not all men, a lot of men put on women needs to be put back on them. If you are a so-called good man, right, you got all of this going on and you don't have the discernment and understanding and cognitive ability to vet a woman to where you know whether or not she gonna get to doing some fuck shit, then that's on you. Because why is it that it seems like all the good women that got all of this going on, she always got the thug F boy baby daddy, why is that? And the same, the corny dude and all of that, he want the baddie, and so why are they seeking things that are intentionally not good for them?
Right,
Why are they?
literally. I just said the same thing, Timothy. They got the same thing. I've watched it happen. Good guy who wants to be a father gets with this chick, and now she's giving him a hard time. And the good woman that's saying, "Here, take your kid. You can see your kid anytime." It's, "Oh, I got something to do. I got it." It happens on both ends, and it's so weird that it's like, are people not seeing this, or are they purposely being blind because they want to put everything on the woman? It's weird.
How long does it take to vet somebody? I'm sorry, go ahead, bro.
All right,
Nah,
go
I'm
ahead,
saying,
Peter.
I live it. Like I live it. Like I fought to see my children, like on like some BS. But like I seen, you know what I mean? I seen the signs. I'm not even gonna lie. But it's like I was like, yeah, figured it wasn't gonna happen to me until it happened to me. So I kind of put
So
myself
who can you? Yeah, I was gonna say, who you really get. So can you? Is it really her fault now? You see what I'm saying? That's where that whole accountability part comes in.
Yeah, that's what I'm
And
saying.
I
I
think
think both parents always got to take accountability for when they make a kid. Both people are involved. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, both people are involved, so both people need to take accountability for that. And to go back to the men complaining about the women and the women complaining about the men, it's always going to be like that. There's always going to be that group of women who have problem with men and that group of men who have problem with women. Again, I go back to the Amazon review analogy. If everything is going good, you're not leaving a review like that. The only way that you're leaving a review is if someone asks you a question. But if things is bad, you going up to strangers and telling them that your dude ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? If things
Can
is
I ask
bad.
you guys a question? Can I ask you guys a question? Do you think that some people are better than others at keeping their representative up?
Yes.
Facts. Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
So that's the whole vetting thing. Sometimes that don't work. But some people can keep their representatives up for years, and it's not until something happens that you see that person for who they it's weak. I'm telling you, some people.
I'm laughing because it's a Sinbad. It may be a Sinbad joke come back to mind, and Sinbad got a joke where he a man, so he's talking about women, he making fun of women, and he's like, fellas, when you meet that woman that's just seems like she's just too good to be true. Like you go out on dates, you at the movie theaters, you eating your popcorn, you want some popcorn. She's like, I just licked the butt off your fingertips. Like, oh damn, okay. They'll say, hey baby, what you want to do? I just want to be with you. That's all. Wherever you go, I want to be there. You're like, oh damn. You say, so you fall for that, like, oh, I got the one. She's submissive and all of that. And then you standing in front of that judge or that preacher, and you say, I do. And then she stand in front of that judge and that preacher, she says, I do, but some things got to change around here. Because I don't like how you be just immediately once. So that's that representative that you're talking about.
Like I tell people all the time, the abuser doesn't show up on the first date. You might be in a relationship with an abuser for 2-3 years, and then one day you give them 7 ice cubes instead of 6, and next thing you know, you get your head knocked between the washer and dryer.
Because something happened that triggered. So in those cases, I don't think it's a representative. I think that's just a trigger that triggers a certain emotion. Like I think everyone, like I instead of representative, I like to use it like memory foam, right? So if you have a memory foam mattress, you push your hand down, at some point the memory foam is going to come back. And it's not going to take that long. It's not going to sit there for years, right? A person can only be a fake version of themselves for so long. Everyone has that nice version of them, right? That you're nice, everything is good, and as long as I'm good, I'm getting my way, and I'm happy, and everything is cool, I'm always going to be this person because this is a real representation of me, right? But if I get triggered, then you may see a different side, and that's not a representative. It's just that you've just never met that side of that person. Because you kept him happy. You've kept his environment sunshine and rainbows the whole time. Right? But as soon as you do it,
but those things, people just avoiding it.
Because then you're basically saying his evil version is the real representation. When it's like, no, they're both the same person. It's just that this is the happy version, this is the mad version.
Right. And
they're both in there. Yeah. They're both in there. It's just that you've just never had to meet this dude because you didn't give me 7 ice cubes. You always gave me 6.
Right. And again, a lot of this stuff, which we didn't have the privy to, when we started dating, we dated on our own. Most of y'all wouldn't bring y'all girlfriends to your mamas and daddies and shit. Y'all ain't bring y'all boyfriends to y'all see y'all daddy. The people, listen, because the people that were raised in that environment, you understood the calling. You gotta go, you know what I'm saying? If you like it, you gotta go meet the people that are important in my family. Oh, since Gen X, we didn't approach it that way. Most of us.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but I grew up with 2 older sisters, and I got one older sister that liked to cut. Yeah, you finna meet my mama, so everybody know who I'm with, just in case you might stab me. So,
but again,
wait, hold on. Did you just say that she likes to cut?
Yeah,
I got one of my sisters got keep blades around the swords. You can guess which one, right?
so she wants to introduce just in case you get cut back.
No, basically. I'm introducing the girls to my parents, and my sisters, just in case I need. This what's happening. So if I get stabbed, they know who to come get.
But again, that's where we need more. If we have more of that, I think people could weed out some of those apples early before, because we just committing all the way. We playing boyfriend, girlfriend too often, too quick, too long.
But what about the one?
So basically, what you're saying is a village. You're basically saying like a village.
Yes, we need that.
But
because
what about?
I'm sorry.
Okay, go ahead. No, I was gonna say, what about the ones that do bring the guy or the girl to the parents, and the parents say this is not the one for you, and they looking at them like you don't know what you're talking about. I'm still going to see this person because that happens a lot.
You know why that happens? Because those 2 people are having mad sex, and they sex struck. When you bringing somebody to your parents and your parents, listen, most fathers that's outside, we know the niggas outside.
Mm-hmm.
Well, fathers, this is the thing, because fathers tell their daughters, because fathers once was those young guys before.
Right.
So they tell their daughters certain things. Right. Because most men would not want their daughter to date this 15, 16, 17-year-old them.
Yes,
right?
Because most 15, 16, I'm just saying.
So the whole thing about it is, while we have men sitting here talking about your mothers taught you certain things, nah, it was your father that was telling you certain things. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I kid you not. My father has always told me, baby girl, you always got to make sure you have your own, but you do not need to date a man who is not willing to do at least what I'm willing to do for you or more. You don't need it.
And some parents mess their kids up.
But wait a minute. But I don't think that's something that a father said. But you know what the common consensus is? That it's the mothers telling the girls this.
No, but most fathers,
as a dude, that I'm the youngest, I got 2 older sisters, and my mother and father were married for 19 years. And I can absolutely tell you with absolute certainty that my father told both of my sisters, you get your own stuff together. Don't be out here depending on no Negro, don't be running behind no Negro. You make sure you can do for yourself. You don't put yourself in a position to where no Negro got control over you. And that was a father's lesson to his daughters.
And what did that teach us, Gen Xers? We're gonna have a whole bunch of sex without being married. We're gonna have a whole bunch of unresponsible sex.
That's not teaching. You telling your daughter to be independent. You telling your daughter to be independent and not have to depend on somebody did not teach them to have unwed sex.
That's not what I'm saying.
You literally just said that.
What? Okay, so let me explain it then, right? So yes, we want our children to be self-sufficient and independent, right? But we still creating a whole life of separation, right? because even if you get a husband or a wife, right? What are we going biblically? Or are we just going socially, right? You can have your independence, right? But everything still applies to the unit. Is all I'm saying. What it did for us, I don't know about y'all. I don't know if y'all had babies when y'all was teenagers. I don't know if we came out of, early 20, and we was more than likely, if we wasn't married, most of us might have been single having that first little baby. So it just put us in the mind, yes, I can still create these things. And that's the thing I love about Gen X, because despite of our dumbass decisions, we still find a way to make it work. We still
Well, that
found a
goes
way.
back.
So
And
This is, I
what he
think
said,
y'all
what
be
he said
living
is
in a
true.
fantasy world. Y'all be
no, I
acting
live
like
in
stuff don't
reality.
happen.
Go ahead.
I tell you,
I'm really
What he's
like,
saying is
I be
true,
getting
but at the same
perturbed with
time,
this shit because y'all be acting like stuff don't happen. Y'all be acting like them same grandmothers that y'all, grandma wasn't the ones telling her granddaughters, don't lay up and get caught up and have these babies by these men. Live your life, go to school, do some things that I wasn't able to do because they were not happy.
well, I
they
want to
weren't
comment on what
happy.
I want to comment on something Ferg first said, because a lot of why we as Gen X weren't taught to, value marriage and all of that, because like I had mentioned before, that was a lesson that was already learned through sight. Because a lot of Gen X, our parents are boomers, and boomers were married. So we grew up with 2-parent household, which is why me and my 2 sisters, I'm still married. My 2 sisters got married. Like, because that was a precedent that was set for them. They saw this is what they saw. They saw a household with a mother and a father that were married. That was that was ingrained in them from birth, that this is what we grow up to do. We grow up to fall in love and get married. Now
That's the goal.
Right. So, but then we got the generation behind us, thanks to the crack era, like we all know and we all mentioned. The crack era broke that cycle. Put a lot of men in jail, put a lot of women in jail, put a lot of men on drugs, put a lot of women on drugs,
And put a lot of men in the grave.
Put a lot of men and women in the grave.
Mhm.
A lot of women gave birth to babies that had was born with addiction and was a little off.
Mhm.
So all of those things come to factor in this next generation that we look at. We have to, as Gen X, look at it and say we can't look at it with rose-colored glasses and be like, oh,
Right.
this generation is just so toe up. I don't know what happened to these kids.
Right.
When we absolutely know what happens to these kids.
Because I always say, if you played a part in the demise of your community, whether you were selling or dating or doing anything with this type of environment, how dare you? How dare you be the one to point your finger at the product of that
You mean
environment?
to tell me you gonna look past?
Huh?
What?
Was that you, Tim?
That was Tim playing a quit, probably. How
Okay.
dare you be the one to look at this look at the product of that generation and say, what is wrong with them? Because if you contributed to it in any way, then you need to be part of the solution instead of pointing the finger and saying saying, oh my God, what is wrong with these kids? Like I don't know.
And that's why me and Meech can both say that our sons did not grow up to be any of the lifestyle type of shit that we grew up.
And I appreciate that. I appreciate that so much.
That's us ensuring that we didn't the culture of gangbanging was not passed on to another generation, not by us directly.
Now I want to say this. As a mother, I think the mothers of that time, because a lot of them had children who the father may have died or got incarcerated for however long through the Rockefeller drug law. And this is just here, right? I can't speak for anywhere else. The mothers went above and beyond to try to keep their kids out of the street, so they spoiled them. And doing that hindered them as well.
No, I can attest to that too. That's why I have all the music equipment I got and all the video games and all of that I got, because my mother was like, hey, he like to do this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And when he does this stuff, he don't go outside.
Yeah.
So if I can keep him in the house, I know he won't die because
Right.
he in the house. And that was like literally what she told me.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was like the mothers, because we were young. I had my first son at 18. His father died in a motorcycle accident. He was 8 months old. So it was like, if anybody who didn't know me would look at me and just, I would be another statistic, right? A single parent, a single mother. Where's the father? You know, and thank God that I had a village around me, right? I had a village around me to be able to step in. Because when I tell you the men in my family stepped up and stepped in, I kid you not. But at the same time, I never wanted my children, my older boys, to be in the streets. So what did I do? I made sure I bought them all of the clothes and, you know, the game systems and all of the things to try to keep them, you know, keep them close. Like, you don't have to step out and be in the street to get these things because your peers have them and you don't have them. You know what I mean? So, and I have to be honest. I spoiled them, and it wasn't a good thing. It wasn't a good thing.
But so here go the thing. Like, with us all being Gen X, with us being Gen X, a lot of us, not all of us I can't speak for everybody on the panel, but a lot of us understand the concept of this village. So as Gen X and as the current elders of the generation, why are we not a village? Why do we got, back in the days they had big mamas sitting on the porch that would see kids. If you don't get down from there, I'm gonna get you, and they would spank you and all of that. But we got a generation now to where if a big mama yell at somebody's kid, the mama finna come down the street. Don't you be yelling at my baby. He got a mama. You come and get me.
Because there was a trust broken. There was a trust broken, a big trust broken. It was a trust broken with that generation. That generation of children, they don't trust anybody. They don't trust. They don't trust. They barely trust them. They barely trust their parents. They don't trust. There was a big trust, but they felt abandoned. These kids were abandoned. We got to remember, these kids were abandoned. These kids had to damn near raise themselves. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, we believe in individual sensationalism. Gen X are the generation of individual sensationalism. And a lot of our men were taken out. A lot of our men were already put in a certain position to be less than after coming. Because again, if you came out of school in the 80s, you had skills that could prepare you for life. You had those skills. And unfortunately, we the baby mama, baby daddy generation.
But those are that also is the generation that came out of school in the 80s. A lot of them couldn't read. They were just social promotion was going on.
No, most Gen X, I don't know. Did y'all have a reading circle? Did y'all learn how to read by third grade?
We had phonics, we had all of that. But they still had
talking about different states and different cities and different concepts.
Social promotion was a thing.
All of us are around the same age, but we not the same age. So when some of you were 15, I was like 12. You know what I mean? So we got different.
Yeah, you was a little kid to a 15-year-old. But still, even in those, I don't know. Again, those abilities to have high aptitude was rampant in the community.
And
Black people,
and a lot of that, because I'm sorry to cut you off, but a lot of that, what you're saying goes back to a matter of funding, because the high school that I went to, they had the regional occupational program, and what you were talking about earlier, how they would bus kids off and stuff like that.
Yeah,
well, at the school I went to, they had auto shop and they had a garage on the campus where the kids would go to the class, work in the garage, and when they graduated, they were certified mechanics.
Yes,
right.
But that's the future.
But no, they took that out of the school.
That's what I'm saying.
Because
Once
my
they took
sister's
that out,
40 and they didn't have home ec and all of that stuff by the time she
but
was
that's what I'm saying.
coming
I
out of
said
school.
this earlier. That's part of the future of the learning process. They all should be, because American education is not the same as it was. Kids ain't as attentive and can't sit down like y'all used to have to sit in the chair, look at the teacher. Y'all niggas know how to write in cursive, I hope. Y'all know how to read a secondhand clock, I hope, right? Because that was given out in y'all education. Then there was a time when no kid left behind with George Bush, and you had a
That's what left
kid.
the kids behind.
They didn't get the reading skills, because that's why you see it in the lower self-esteem
That's
in
why I
young
said
people. Younger people are a lot more heavier than they were 30 years ago. You had people in isolation, but it wasn't a whole group of people just walking around with low self-esteem. Kids were outside socializing. That was part of the process. So when you became an early teenager, you had a lot of self-sufficient and independent skills that your parents didn't teach you shit. You just learned it by watching and observing. And it could be different. If y'all had parents that go to work, y'all has been working since y'all was 16. That's just me. Your parents wasn't sporty. If they went to work, they left a list of stuff. Hey, do this, do that, do this, that. Don't open my door, and you followed those instructions well. Now we don't give. We don't. We
out the freezer.
Yeah, take that shit out. If you want to eat, take it out. And you took it out.
Yeah, but now if you try to do that with you, because I look at my grandson's 7, and I'll be like, you boy, you behind, right? Because by 8 years old, I was already coming home from school by myself. But if you do that now, you run the risk of your neighbor calling CPS on you.
That's not true, though. I mean, they can
No,
do
that
that.
is true. That is
Listen,
true.
hold on, your neighbor, but your neighbor can call the police. However, the techniques still trump everything going on with what the neighbors feel. The technique, because listen, I worked in foster care, and some of the things that people would think that you can't do, they promote that. They want that child to have some form of discipline. So as long as you're starting correcting it early, you're not letting them correct it at 15 and 16.
But what I'm saying to you is right now, in this climate, if a child is coming home, first of all, an 8-year-old can't even leave school by themselves anymore.
Right,
Somebody
'cause they
has
slow
to pick them up.
forget it. Yeah,
Right?
it's
So
dangerous.
even if it was like that, it's dangerous too. And back then, when I was younger, the neighbor wouldn't call the CPS on your parent. They would make sure you got in that house and you locked that door. Now, certain people will call CPS on you. So it's not the same anymore, because
we don't have a
now
village.
it's not right. So why would you say that's not true when it's absolutely true?
But it happens again. There's levels to it, right? In your high renting populations, you may see that what you're saying. In most communities where there's taxpayers, you don't see that type, because the kids are outside. They walk to the bus together. In our community, when you live in a community where you don't own the homes, it's not the same.
It's not like that no more. I
Thank
can
you.
tell you. I
Well, it
can tell you
depends, I
right
guess,
now.
the country where you live. I mean, the state.
I can tell you. I can tell you right now. On any given Saturday in my area, you're not gonna see kids in the middle of the street playing football. You're not gonna see kids riding bikes and riding skate. They don't do that no more. They doing this.
Yeah, they playing the video game on the phone.
They on these right. This is social to them. They're not outside no more. They're not outside. They're not getting skint up knees, or you know what I mean.
They're not going on adventures with their friends. Like they're not doing that anymore.
Right. They're not going on it. They're not going riding bikes and almost dying and coming home like.
Yeah, the Goonies don't exist no more.
Right. The Goonies don't exist no more.
So y'all think that we just acquiescence? Are we acquiescing as a people to the bullshit of America?
I think times change as well.
Different as a generation, we fail. We failing because we are permitting our children and grandchildren to do this. Yeah. We are the current generations of elders.
Yeah.
We are the we the parents and the grandparents. That's who we are. Gen X. We old now.
And we're the last generation of information.
Half a century. We owe half a century. We owe.
Now I laugh because my older boys, they be like, you would have made us go outside.
Right.
But I can't do that with this one, right? Because the community of children that my older sons had, it's not there anymore. I had this younger one, I was already 37 years old. So there's not a bunch of women who had kids around that same age. So there's
No.
not a bunch of kids in where we live like it was when my
they were
older sons were growing up.
Right. When your peers were having kids, all that y'all ever having
Right.
kids together.
Right.
You know the crazy part of what you said, Tim, was that when you were saying that we're Generation X and we're allowing it. We're Generation X and we were corralled into it. Like we were practically the ones they had to give us the beginning of the tech. So that way we are still utilizing how we're doing exactly right now.
Right.
To where we give them the consent to do it to our children because they did it to us. They made it normal for us. So it's
Well,
like in a sense, go ahead.
No, what I was gonna say is like everything you're saying, I'm not refuting or denying. The only thing that I'm saying is they that you're saying didn't give our kids phones. We did. We went and bought it. We didn't have to do that. We gave our kids tablets. They invented it, but we went and got it. So because as a kid, I can remember a gang of stuff. Mama, be all in the store. Mama,
Yep.
mama, and I didn't get everything that I wanted.
But is there a need for our children?
And that's
to
why
have
you give it.
phones?
No.
That's
Like
why you give it.
is there a need for our children to have phones, right? Because I remember when I used to go outside, I couldn't go outside with less than a roll of quarters just in case I needed to make a phone call.
Yeah.
I feel that.
We don't have those corner phones anymore.
Listen, our kids could do fine with just old regular ass flip phone with some numbers, right? But we got this grandiose sensationalism that we not doing necessarily what's always the right thing. We want to please other people. We looking at how people view us, right? So a lot of us will go into debt trying to make up for lack of love that we actually would give our children because today we know everything. So and I'll say that because the information that we didn't have is now available, but we're smarter, wiser, right? And a lot of us don't use that to say, listen, this is my experience in my time. Your time is different. This is what you need to pay attention to.
So
You
look,
gotta pay attention to
that's very interesting because I'm putting what the three you and Percy just said together. So since like the example I gave when I was saying, mama, I didn't get everything I wanted. And Percy was saying, well, that's why you gave it, because you didn't get what you wanted. Now that I gave it, so my parent doing that to me triggered something in me to where I said, well, when I get kids, I ain't gonna do this.
Mhm.
And now I'm doing this to my kid because of my own personal traumas or deficit that I feel. But by me giving these things to these kids, it now puts a deficit in them, which is why we got a whole generation coming up now that have such an entitlement, because we had to earn a pair of Jordans where they're getting a pair of Jordans. We had to earn a pager where they're just getting a cell phone. You see what I'm saying?
Did y'all parents buy y'all pages?
I had to
you bought your own.
I had to.
But see, that's what I'm saying. Though.
I was already grown and out of the house by the time they became
Pages
popular.
came out, yeah.
But I
you
was
didn't go
also a
ask mom
spoiled
before
child
that,
too. Like there was nothing that I asked for that I didn't get. And if one couldn't do it, they got together and did it. So
it's like I would think to believe that you was a pretty good student in school. You was respectful. See, that's the thing. When parents have children, like you want to do good things for it, right? And that's not the problem.
But school got boring for me after a while
because
I
you were
felt
smarter.
like
You were smarter than the school you went to, right? And that's the thing, right? We actually are smarter than the public education that we get. Because I guarantee if that school was giving us information about the strong black man and black woman of the world, I think more niggas would be presidential candidates right now.
No, that
Because
comes from us. We need to be doing that. I can't put that on the school system. I was always
yeah,
in
when they
gifted and
started
talent.
busting
I
us,
was
that
always
was
in gifted
different.
and talented
See,
classes, right? But I feel like these are the things that we as parents, as a community, need to be gearing our children towards. We cannot always rely on the school system for certain things, and that's just
No,
how I
no,
feel.
no, no, no. I'm talking about the
and that's the
information.
generation that's been going
That's
on
all.
too. Is that they pushing because like we were just saying a moment ago, like because what you just said about relying on school, that's kind of what they pushing for. They're pushing for these kids to be in this perpetual debt, which is why I thought about it. That's why they took the occupational programs
Mhm.
out of the high schools.
Right. They train you to go work.
No, because before you could graduate high school and be a plumber, you could graduate high school and be an electrician, you can
That's
graduate high school
entrepreneur.
and you can graduate high school and be a mechanic. They took that away and pushed you got to go to college.
But that's what I'm saying. They train you to become a worker. Because when you have those skills
But
coming out of high school,
going to college
it
perpetuates
trains
debt.
you to work. It trains you to
No,
work.
The school my son is getting ready to go to,
Go
the
get
high
this student
school.
loan and get into debt.
Go into
So
debt
now-
and go
right.
back to work for us. We go
Right, so you can
instead
pay
of
off this debt perpetually.
The high school my son is about to go to, he will learn financial literacy, and whichever trade he takes, by the time he graduates high school, he will already have the certificates and stuff he needs. But guess what? I got to pay for that.
Oh, well, see, yeah. But there was a difference before busing. I don't know. Y'all probably was in when y'all went to elementary school. Busing had already taken place. I was bused from typically all black school up into the 8th grade to now we're in a mixed school, right? White people and people, when we were taught by our mothers and aunties that look like us, black people excelled at a high rate. When we started going to these other public schools and some schools thinking because we moving up, our learning potential has dropped 40-50%.
Well, they say if a
what
child has if a child has a black teacher, at least for 3 grades, that they
At least the primary grades.
They,
3rd, 4th, 5th grade. Yeah.
Y'all know that this thing too is stifling brain power, right? Because all of us on here can absolutely remember when you was a teenager, you knew everybody that was your friend number by heart. You met a girl and you got her number, you remembered it by heart. You had about 700 numbers in your brain that you knew by heart.
Right.
Now you I know for me, I barely know my
Man, I forgot all them numbers as soon as I got my first cell phone.
2
man.
or 3 numbers by heart now.
Right. I kid you not. I don't, and this is sad to say, I don't even know my mother's phone number by heart, but I damn sure know my sister. She's the only phone number that I know by heart, my sister.
Yeah, you see. So just imagine we older, but we've already had those things computed in us, right? In a sense, right? So we can recall something. You know, you get old, you ain't gonna remember everything. But these kids are already coming out at a greater deficit because the self-esteem is not there, the reading efficiency is not there. They can't count numbers. They don't know how to count money. They lacking in so many basic things that they could help excel early in life.
And as the parent, we supposed to be doing that at the house. If they falling behind in reading at school, we supposed to be sitting down with them with Dr. Seuss until they figure it out.
But it's harder to do when I gotta work 9 hours a day. That's the dynamic that they put us in. Because if both parents listen, brother, I get off at 3, you get off at 5, right? Kids get out of school at 3:30. Let me get my own babies. Let me give some enthusiasm about life. And again, that helps. I used to tell parents all the time, sometimes you got to go to the 3rd grade with your child so you can learn too. And you might have to learn these things, basic skills, because when the kids see you learning, that's going to give them so much more encouragement to want to learn and be more respectful. But it comes with those relationships.
I ain't gonna lie to you. You ain't lying, because when my son was in the 3rd grade and he came home with that Common Core math, I really kind of felt stupid because I was like, what is this?
Common
So
Core
Same
math.
on
what I was
Common
lucky,
Core math is dumb.
I was lucky that there's this guy. So I did. This is what I learned, that in the United States, every day, each grade gets the same homework.
hmm
And this guy had a channel on YouTube where he would go over the homework. So this third grade is teaching me Common Core math, but I'm knowing that he's getting it right because this guy would go through the homework every day. So I got lucky on that end. But then talking with the teachers, the older teachers had to go back to school to learn it. And the younger teachers coming out of school, they learn it. They learn it while they're there, so they don't have to go back. But it's like, first of all, and then when you look at the states that didn't adopt Common Core, their kids score higher.
Exactly.
Right. So we coming up on we 15 minutes till 3 hour, y'all. We having an absolutely great conversation. I want to play this clip and then we can start closing out, because this clip go with right with what we're talking about right now.
Get a lot of flack, but boomers get a lot of flack, but I think we're not giving enough smoke to Gen Xers. They are the worst parents. Every day y'all get on Gen Z about how Gen Z is helpless and can't do nothing, or are adult babies. But who was supposed to teach Gen Z these things? Between them not teaching us any life skills in school, no home economics, no nothing, where was the next place we were supposed to get that from? Right, parents. They didn't do their job. Boomers.
There we go. And there it is.
That ain't, listen, let me tell you something. We used to be in the kitchen snapping peas. Well, I taught my kids how to cook, my boys. Because for my boys, because I don't have daughters, but I did raise my sister. She cooks very well. I just never want my boys, because my dad said something to me a long time ago that always stuck with me. If you put yourself in a position where somebody has to feed you, that same person can starve you. And I just never want my boys to be home. They don't know how to cook. They know how to do laundry. They know how to do everything. And yeah.
So you prove my point every time. Thank you.
Well, I don't have much pushback. Only pushback that I have with you, brother, is that as much as you say the right things, you seem to always gear it towards the woman. And I'm gonna always have pushback for that. Timotheus will tell you. I'm gonna always have, especially because I've seen it from both sides, and I am woman enough to admit that it happens on both sides. And a lot of times, some people are looking through, like Tim said, rose-colored lenses, and they just want to blame the woman. But you got to blame the man too, because if y'all claim to be the leaders and the this and the that, then why I ain't leading?
I'll say this, right? Because you said something very profound in reference to men, right? And I'm always stand by this, because working in the education system, working in foster care system, working in these programs where it's sort of the less, I would say the most subjugated people over the last 40 years of our lifetime, for the most part, Black men have really been pushed out of the opportunity to have families and raise their children. Just as of recently, you're seeing a growing number, right? And it's not about the man or the woman, but in America, more than likely the primary caregiver is going to be the mother. And we're seeing results of children having these emotional issues based off what they were getting in the homes they were in, or not getting in the homes they were in. The father, he ain't shit. He should have been there. But I would think if the laws would change, where it's we pregnant, okay, both of y'all going to parenting classes, regardless of your age. Both of y'all going to have some type of mediation to understand the importance of raising this child together. And if you choose to say, listen, you don't want this child, listen, you where the child still got to be paid for, there's the money you pay for that. And other than that, allow the child to sort of build its own understanding of who those people are at some point. And then again, people have to get over their feelings when it comes to, the future. I'm not going to apply what I went through to what I'm living in reality, because a lot of these young people want somebody to tell them that regardless of their situation, they can overcome it. You can't blame people once you are out here in the world about the lack of, because the information is there and the opportunity is there, especially with somebody who ain't never been married, but you can't keep listening to niggas who've been divorced 3 times. And you have to be willing to separate and be intentional about where you're going. So, but I love the conversation, sister. I don't be in my feelings. It's good.
I don't be in
that
my
you're willing
feelings.
to have it.
No,
I'm just saying for me, it's good.
Yeah, no,
It's good.
I'm not in my feelings. I'm just gonna have the pushback because what I'm noticing is that there's this climate of, again, everything is the woman's fault, and Tim proved that this has been happening for so long. Like with his video clips, when you even go back into history, you'll see that. Listen, I listened to a brother the other night, and he was like, "Yo, listen, y'all, instead of y'all stepping up, doing what you want to do, you're trying to make these women be under your foot. It's not gonna happen. We need to be supporting each other. We need to be supporting the women instead of trying to make them be underneath us. This is the climate we're living in. I'm not saying you guys, but the climate that's social media climate. They are trying to make women be underneath them. And the guy asked him, what have we built for our women for them to want to relinquish this power to us? What have we built for them? And nobody could answer. Everybody got quiet.
Well, let's be real, because in America, the black man doesn't. We are under the white man's thumb in America.
So you under the white man, and you just proved my point. You're under the white man's thumb.
Hold on, because again, it's gonna have to take a unified effort on both sides. Most men, okay, this is America, right? Because again, some of those laws that could change to benefit everybody. Will both people be on board to change those laws?
But your point is the black man is under the white man's thumb, but then the black man wants
black
to turn
woman
around.
Is too.
But I know that. But the black man wants to turn around and put the black woman under his foot.
I don't know anybody that want to be that.
Listen, this is
much of a tyrant.
This is the climate right now. Timotheus can speak to it. It's the climate right now.
So literally,
it's so much of the climate right now that everybody and their mother, I don't know if talking about the black woman is big business, but even people who don't even deal with black women are talking about them, because it's just, and it goes back to what Malcolm X said. We have been the most unprotected woman on the planet.
So we about to hit 7 minutes from 3 hours. What he just said about being under the thumb of the other man, I want to play this, and I don't always agree with Charleston White, but yeah,
I'm so tired of him.
Is it not playing? Where the sound?
It's on mute.
Okay.
Yeah, you're on mute.
You mean to tell me you gonna look past everything your family done been through? Your mama been beat, your daddy been abused, your grandmama, you go overlook all that and blame the white man for slavery, and you've never seen a slave? Why hadn't what your grandmama been through affected you? Why hadn't what your mama been through affected you? Why you going all the way back to slavery when you wasn't here? What did you see as a kid that hurt you? When your mama and daddy met at the club and your daddy pulled his bullshit ass up, your mama said, say, let me get y'all a drink. And when your mama caught your daddy fucking her best friend, what did the white man have to do with that? When your daddy said, bitch, fuck you. When your daddy wanted to get high and go up to the top of the projects and fuck, made another baby he knew he couldn't make. Nigga, you know how easy it was for niggas to get jobs when they were making babies back then? Niggas were working at General Motors, going to prison, coming home. That's mine. Coming home, still working for General Motors. Niggas built the roads. Niggas was the Mexicans. So you mean to tell me we know how to read? As little as we know how to read, the motherfuckers before us couldn't read. We can talk back to the teacher. What excuse do we have? What excuse do we have, huh? You mean it?
There it is.
And that's why, like, on my show, I did a panel.
We can't be talking about the we under the thumb of the white. They can't make that excuse.
No, but that's why
the white man didn't make me a gangbanger. The white man didn't tell me to ditch school and go smoke weed. The white man, you say like that's just where I'm
he
at. He
was raised by his mama, and he's everything he's doing, the white man is allowing him to do. He was raised by his mama.
So what does that mean?
No, because
there's so many men that was raised by their mothers. Listen, I had on my show, I had two brothers on there. They both talk about how their fathers wasn't around, and one of them talked about how the father lived right in the city. And then another brother came up there talking about these boys raised in single mother homes, they're effeminate. So I asked him, "You got two brothers sitting here. Well, do you deem them effeminate?" And he couldn't answer that, right? And he was like, "No." I said, "So then what are you talking about?" Because there are women that are raising boys that are not effeminate. They're not. So we got to stop this women. We got to stop. Some of these dudes, I'm not even going to lie to you. Some of these dudes are soft.
Could we stop the gender war, period?
I want to stop it so bad. And this is why on my panel, on my show, I'm going to be doing things once a month because I really kind of do this over here with Tim. But once a month, I'm going to start having a panel because I feel like the echo chamber of gender war is so loud that people who wanted to stop don't really have a voice. So I'm going to just do my part in trying to make it stop.
It'll stop if we quit giving it energy.
Yeah, well, you can't help but to clap back when it's everywhere. It's everywhere.
Look, the reason why it can't stop, the reason why it cannot stop is the first couple video clips I played from 1968, where verbatim the same points were being spoken on, the same conversation about gender and the role of a man and a woman and all of that was have. Do I got to play it again before we want to close out with that?
No, you know what, Tim, I want to do? I want to do a thing on the Black woman's guide to understanding the Black man, because I know how they weaponize the Black man's guide to understanding the Black women. They weaponize that book against women, but they never touch the opposite perspective from her.
I got both of them books too. They really they hard for me to understand because I don't understand a lot of the cultural references because I was a baby during that time. But I wanna thank everybody for coming on the panel. Ferg, you can do your shout out to your channel.
No, salute to y'all, man. Salute to y'all for having the conversations, man. It's always interesting to chop it up with people like that, man. So, you know, hey, I'm gonna try to train young people to be the best they can be, regardless of male or female, man. Hopefully we can break the cycle somewhere down the road, man. It doesn't matter to me, man. I love Black people. I'm a yellow Black people. Only been called yellow through Black people. Ain't no called nigga one time. I slapped the white boy so hard I ain't never heard it. In the military, no job I work, a white boy called me niggas. Always been niggas. That and I use that as a term of endearment, right? Because I understand the plight. I'm gonna fight to the end. And you know what I'm saying? I'm on my channel's Coach Ferg 03. Simple channel, man. We'll do a lot of life talk, trying to be better from everything, man, top to bottom through life, making the changes you needed, man, just to be a better person, despite where you started, man. I believe it ain't where you're from, it's where you're going. And if you ain't going nowhere as a man, you can find yourself in a bad situation as you mature. So always be putting in the work to be better, and let the cards fall where they may, man. Stay out your feelings when you step outside your door.
Right on. And then tomorrow, and because Meech, you ain't got no social media or nothing you want to promote throughout there.
No, I ain't got
Me.
nothing.
All right. So y'all come check out Step Into the Light tomorrow on Paradigm Shift TV 314 on YouTube at what time?
8 o'clock, 8 p.m. Eastern.
8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific time. And we gonna get to rocking. I thank everybody for tuning in and rocking with us for this whole 3 hours. I appreciate everybody on the panel. Until next week, we gonna have to get together, find out what we're talking about. And until the next time, everybody.
Peace.